Why, hello. The sad music is playing. Why is the sad music playing? Ahoy! Welcome to the Captain's Cast. I am your host. I had the... Stop the music. Mr. Producer. This is not the time for sad music. Well, I don't know. Yeah, it is kind of time for sad music because, unfortunately, Grogu survived. Grogu survived Baba Yaga's attempt to take him out. Yes, that's right. Welcome to the Captain's Cast. I am your host, Captain Garrett of the Swords of Starships channel. And we like to hang around every week or so and just talk shit, you know. We're going to be talking about The Mandalorian and Grogu because I saw it for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know why I watched it. I don't know what I thought I was going to get out of it. I got very little out of it. This was TV filler at its best. We have some other things to talk about, too. There's a lot of interesting stuff in gaming. Bungie is collapsing. Mixtape is a complete disaster. And there's been an odd resurgence, a kind of revisitation, if you will, of Starfield, which I have found, it's mostly just a thing I find interesting. It is one of the most fascinating failures because I am like the target audience of a game like Starfield, and it's awful and I hate it. And so I'm enjoying this strange retrospective that's occurring in that regard. The Boyz finale, let me tell you how much I saw of the Boyz finale. I skipped to the scene where they kill Homelander, and I skipped most of that scene because literally the scene where they kill Homelander, spoilers for the Boyz. Literally the scene in which they killed Homelander was boring. It was so boring I had to skip through the boring parts, and it wasn't even I just, you know, I started watching this show years ago, and the first season was pretty good, and there is a concept called the promise of the premise. The promise of the premise goes something like this. We want to see what's on the poster of the movie. That's what we came to see. Or the trailer, or the concept of the story. The promise of the premise for John Wick is that he's a badass and he's going to get revenge. And so that's what we want to see. And the premise that we were promised in The Boyz was the death of Homelander. And let's call it an open loop in my consciousness I just needed to close, but I wanted to just see that piece of it. I just want to see the death of Homelander. It's interesting to note how utterly hollow such a conclusion can truly be. So perhaps we'll dwell on that a little. I was going to reminisce a little bit about A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, but, I just felt like I don't have as much on that as I want to talk about. So I think we'll just chew the fat a little about Mandalorian and Grogu. What was the point? What was the point of this? Why do this? Why put essentially... Okay, let me tell you what Mandalorian and Grogu is. And there's going to be spoilers. I'm not holding anything back. There's nothing to spoil. If you've seen the trailer, you've seen the movie. If you've seen the trailer and you're thinking, what is the interesting thing that's going to happen in this movie? Well, you've already seen it. What's notable about The Mandalorian and Grogu is rather distinct from a lot of the other just garbage that I've watched in the past. For example, Snow White. Perhaps it is necessary to refresh everyone's memory. Do I still have that clip, Mr. Producer? I don't know if I still have it. I suppose I got rid of it. Anyway, Snow White, The Marvels, The Crow remake. These are all Joker, Folie à Deux. These are all great examples of films that are so bad, they're offensive. They're miserable. They're awful to watch. Awful. And you're just like, oh my God, you want to flee the theater. The Mandalorian and Grogu is notable in that it's in a different category. There's actually, let's start with the positives. I did say, Mr. Producer, I was going to start with the positives, did I not? I'm doing it. Anyway, let me give you the positives on Mandalorian and Grogu. In the third act, Grogu winds up on his own having to rescue the Mandalorian from danger. He has to kind of go on a little bit of a mission at his scale, which is actually, there is some real potential there. There's some real potential. So there's these little guys. I don't know what they're called, but there's these little mechanic guys from the TV show that are his size. Well, they're a little bit smaller than he is, and they're always repairing the Mandalorian ship. They have a little mini ship. It's such normie nip. They have a little teeny tiny ship, and they fly away on the ship to go save the Mandalorian, and they've got Grogu, like stuffed in the back. It's a crowd-pleasing moment, I will say that much. And he winds up on this little mini adventure where he's got to go through tunnels, and he has to fly in a mini ship, and he has to do little things that a little guy can do. And there's a great scene in which an injured and, possibly dying Mandalorian is unconscious, and Grogu has to watch over him and protect him. And that is probably the one passage of the film that had some real promise and some real impact that was pretty not bad, I have to tell you. I think there was a lot of potential there, and the crowd really enjoyed it. The problem with it is, so what? Now, I don't mean that to downplay what is good about the movie. I think Grogu probably shines as a character more than he ever has in any of The Mandalorian, but he did not grow as a character. And that's the key distinction. And he doesn't really endure any trials that are meaningful. Which brings me along to the closest comparison that I felt of this film to another film. I would not compare it to the Marvels. I would not compare it to Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. I would not compare it to Joker, Folie à Deux. I would compare it to a Minecraft movie. That is what Mandalorian and Grogu roughly felt like to me. In the Minecraft movie, there is absolutely zero stakes. There is zero tension. There is never a moment where I care whether the heroes win or lose. There's never a villain that has any real meaning to me. There's never a situation in which I think a character is in actual trouble. Half of the time, I'm just trying to buy into this world so that I can be immersed in the movie. And I would say that Mandalorian is sort of on that level for me. Everything that happens in this film is it's filler. It's a filler episode in the middle of a season. It's not even as good as the season finale of season 2 or even season 1 of the show. You would think, I would think that if you're going to do a film about the Mandalorian and Grogu, it should be about something consequential happening in the Star Wars universe. But nothing at all consequential is at stake for the galaxy in this show, in this movie. See, I can't even think of it as a movie. Nothing in the galaxy is at stake here. It's despite Sigourney Weaver's sort of lame exposition dump that this is about fighting for everything the rebellion fought to, or preserving what the rebellion fought for. It's like, well, none of the Imperial Remnant characters in this film are anything but incompetent idiots They're really like they're like characters from the Boys, the Imperials. They're really stupid. They're really incompetent. The scenes in which they appear are themselves dumb. The opening scene of this film is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. I mean, it is. And, it doesn't help that I just rewatched Andor seasons 1 and 2, in which the Imperial Security Bureau and the Imperial forces, they are cold-blooded, they are ruthless, they are lethal. Even like the prison that they put Andor in the show is so, it's just so psychopathically genius in how it's constructed to sort of break their will. It's like I go from that to the opening scene of this film, in which there's this I guess he wants to be like an imperial governor of like this local outlying group of systems, and he's assembled all of these, like, I guess mayors or something of local towns or planets or something, and they're all just sort of sitting around a table listening to him villain monologue about how great the Empire was and how it's so great that you're all participating, and we're going to rebuild the Empire, and we're going to kick out the New Republic. And then one of them issues a rather mild call. He says, hey, listen, my planet is really struggling, and we could use some help, and we really can't afford some of the taxes you're asking for. And the guy, he says some kind of lame mustache twirling line, and then he shoots him. He just blasts it, blows him away. And then he's like, any other objections? I'm like, oh, jeez. These are idiots. These are stupid people writing this. That may include Jon Favreau, unfortunately, an otherwise competent director who's written really just some serious slop here. So the Imperials are pointless. They're forgettable. The New Republic characters like Sigourney Weaver are like boomers LARPing in Star Wars. They're extremely cringe. This franchise strikes me now as more than anything aged, old, tired. That's how this feels to me. Every action sequence in this movie is meaningless. They introduce the Hutt characters. I will get into that. Redoubt Productions says, why art thou stream in the middle of a Saturday afternoon? Well, say hi to the people of Redoubt's workspace, because I have control of the TV in the store. Guess what they'd be watching? Oh, me? I apologize. I apologize to everyone within the sound of my voice. No. That Redoubt Productions has subjected you to the Captain's Cast here on a Saturday. Why is it on a Saturday afternoon? Because that's the time I had, okay? I have like zero time. Why? Because there are so if Chris Stuckman is a YouTuber trying to be a writer, I would say that I am a writer trying to be a YouTuber. And that really was doing things backwards. So now I am back to being a writer who has a YouTube channel. And I am working on my newest IP, which is Galaxyborn. This is going to be the upcoming novel. And if you go to www.galaxyborn.com, you can enter your email and check in. You can get the updates when I am ready to launch my campaign. So anyway, that is why it's on a Saturday, because I don't have time for almost anything else these days. But I'm trying to keep the channel alive until I can, reassemble it. There we go. Center the camera there. So yeah, now let's move along to what is the Mandalorian and Grogu about. Star Fury has entered the chat. Ahoy, Star Fury. Star Fury, that thumbnail was for you. I hope you appreciate that. I really do. Okay, Mr. Producer, grab this for me. Let's do this screen. And we're going to do image. Let me see if I can find it here. Shouldn't take me long. Yes, Mr. Producer. I just saved it. It should be right at the top of the... There it is. I got it. Okay, here we go. Why did I make this the thumbnail? Well, because it pleases me. That's why. There. Actually, you know what? Do that. It's the Baba Yaga. He has an assignment. Can you guess what it is? That one's for you, Starfury. It's because, like, I did my top 10 best and worst, my versus thumbnail, and I accidentally had John Wick on one side pointing his gun, and on the other side I had Grogu, and it just happened to line up in a very, shall we say, serendipitous way, and Starfury appreciated that. And for some reason, I was thinking of that. I was like, you know what? I need one that our master gunner on the ship would appreciate. And I forgot, Redoubt Productions, by the way, is the signal officer aboard the ship. That's a very important role. That is the signal officer. That is the message. The messages to the fleet go through the signal officer. So we have the signal officer and we have the master gunner aboard. Shouldn't Grogu have a sniper rifle? That's what he had in the movie, Starfury. I don't know. Ask Jon Favreau. Starfury approves of Saturday afternoons. Now is the perfect time for a captain's shill. I would agree. Yes, shilling my novel is exactly what we should be doing. But yeah, so what is this stupid movie about? Well, nothing, really. Would you like to hear the plot of The Mandalorian and Grogu? Here it is. The New Republic has been hiring the Mandalorian for multiple jobs. They want to take out another Imperial that he's already, like, the first scene of the movie is he takes out an Imperial with absolutely zero effort. No difficulty at all. The guy's a complete retard, and he goes down easily. And so he just is assigned another Imperial to take out. Oh, this is a bad Imperial. This Imperial's even worse than the last Imperial. Okay, great. The problem is we don't know where he is, but the Hutts do, and they'll tell us. But the Hutts have their missing son, their missing nephew that you need to go. It's been held hostage. You need to go get him. Rada the Hutt, who is the son of Jabba the Hutt. So he goes to the Hutts, and the Hutts are like, you can find him on this planet. So he goes to the planet, and he finds Rada the Hutt. And he says, Rada the Hutt, I need you to come with me to your aunt and uncle so that they will tell me where the Imperial is, and also who he is. And of course, backing up a step, when he finds Rada the Hutt is a pit fighter on a planet who doesn't want to be rescued and actually says, my aunt and uncle are trying to kill me because I'm a threat to their power. And I don't want to leave the planet. And Mandalorian gets sucked into a bunch of fetch quests, side quest stuff. Eventually, he winds up running afoul of the Hutts, and then they send an assassin to get him. And then he finds out that the Imperial he was looking for is the guy running the pit fights all along. And so he arrests him and brings him back to the Republic, but now the Hutts want his head, and Rada the Hutt winds up joining forces with the Mandalorian, and the Mandalorian gets very badly injured in a redo of the... what the hell's the name of that creature in Return of the Jedi? It's like right on the tip of my tongue. What is it? The I keep wanting to say like the Grothnak or the Rathnar or what the hell was it? Oh, I can't remember what it was. That thing Luke fights in the pit in Jabba's palace. Somebody will know. Anyway, in a redo of that, the Mandalorian gets badly injured. Grogu has to care for him. Again, this was the one part of the movie that had some promise and some potential. Unfortunately, the solution to Grogu's problem literally just appears into the movie and gifts him with the medicine that will save the Mandalorian's life. Mandalorian kills all the bad guys. Sigourney Weaver leads a squadron of X-Wings to take out the Hutts. A geriatric woman leads the squadron of X-Wings and takes out the Hutt. This is the most fucking boomer movie I've ever seen. I gotta tell you, this is a boomer movie. It's like if Hillary Clinton did a take on the Star Wars. I don't know how we get them to go to the polls, but how do we get them to go to the Star Wars? That is what this movie feels like to me. Every character in it is lame. In fact, the Hutts is one of the strangest parts of this movie because I almost kind of liked Rod of the Hutt a little bit, but he has a totally human voice and accent, which completely makes him not at all sound like a Jabba the Hutt type species. He's basically just a super cool dude. They turned him into, he's a super cool dude. That's it. I'm just a super cool dude, you know. The kid's gonna be okay, Mando. Kid's gonna be okay. You're a good dad, Mando. I'm not like my dad, Jabba. You know how hard it is living under the shadow of Jabba the Hutt? I mean, this is the character, right? And it's so weird. The Imperials are really, they're just such stupid characters. This is brain rot, the movie. And it's pretty much what you'd expect. Baby Yoda being cute is most of the movie. Vacuous trash stuff hitting. Yes, you have the right of it, sir. The Mandalorian never has to struggle for anything. He wins almost every fight easily. There's very rarely any kind of challenge as a character. He never has to face any kind of like hard decisions. There's never any moral weight to anything. Grogu doesn't have to learn anything. He doesn't have to grow. The Mandalorian doesn't have to give up anything or achieve anything. Now, that wouldn't necessarily make for a bad film because there are films where the main characters don't really need to grow or change. They're kind of status quo characters. In particular, the whodunit genre is a good example of this. The detective does not really ever change. Mulder and Scully are always Mulder and Scully. They really don't evolve as characters because they don't need to. But if that's the case, the situations they're in must be interesting, right? There's none of that with this movie. Nothing that happens in this movie is anything other than a kind of mid-tier mini boss in a season of the show. There's no sense of triumph. There's no soul or heart to this movie. I just think of like how the scene in Project Hail Mary where Rocky breaks out of his environmental enclosure and he's now exposed to Earth's atmosphere, which to him, it would be like us being thrown into a oven with a ammonia atmosphere and we're literally choking and burning to death. And that's basically what's happening to Rocky as he tries to save Grace and save the mission. And you hear him screaming in the movie. You hear him screaming as he's trying, or well, maybe not screaming, but he's like, he's crying out in pain. And he's this very alien creature. And yet here I am in the movie and I literally am, I almost can't even handle it. It's so difficult to watch because it's so disturbing and so awful. Right? But like, it's so important, right? I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's a good thing because it's meaningful. He's sacrificing his life to save Dr. Grace and the mission. And I just think of how deeply affecting that scene is to me. And I'm sitting here watching Mando and Grogu, and here we have Mandalorian on his deathbed, and we have Grogu on his own trying to figure out a way to save him. That should be an extremely meaningful and powerful passage of the movie, and it's not. It's not. It's completely boring and meaningless. He doesn't even... So let me just tell you how he resolves it. The Mandalorian is poisoned. He's dying of poison from this bite from this creature that, by the way, should have been able to bite him in half. But for whatever reason, it just does a little teeny puncture wound, but he's poisoned. He has poison damage. He has persistent poison damage. And Mandalore and Grogu has to save him. And there is some kind of interesting parts of it where Grogu's like, he builds a little mud hut like Yoda had, and he uses the Force to like put him under, he hides him from enemies who are walking by, and all that's fine. Grogu goes wandering to find food for himself. Even though there was like potential there, I do remember feeling like there's like no music and I was like, God, there's something really lifeless about all this. I'm sitting here watching. I'm just like, there's something so lifeless about this whole thing. And I couldn't put my finger on it until the solution to the problem arrived and I realized what it is. There's no tension. There's no stakes. He doesn't have to fight for it. He's never in any real danger. That's the problem with it. He never has to learn, grow, or experience challenge because this is the strangest thing about it. He's wandering through this little jungle area, and this could just be bad editing, but the implication of this area is that he's in the jungle. There's nothing around. There's nobody for miles except enemies. And he's kind of wandering around his little campsite where he has the Mandalorian bedridden, and he sort of looks over, and the camera pans over, and we see a little hut on the water with a little campfire. And I'm like, where the hell did that come from? It just magically appeared. It just spawned into the scene that there's a little campfire and a fisherman nearby. So Grogu, he sneaks over to the fisherman's hut and steals a fish. And the fisherman clearly notices but doesn't do anything. And then Grogu comes back the next night to get another fish. And then the guy's like, you're the one who stole my fish. Don't steal my fish. By the way, your Mandalorian over there, it's like, is he in the well, Lassie? Is he in the well? He basically says, if he's poisoned, he'll need this. And he whips up like this herbal remedy for the poison. Well, it may not work, but try it anyway. And he just gives him the cure to the poison and sends him on his way. And he even misdirects like the bad guys, the Hutt agents looking for him. He misdirects them for him. And then Grogu, totters over back to the Mandalorian, gives him the magical herbal remedy, and Mandalorian's back on his feet. And we're off to go beat the shit out of the Hutts. And I'm just like, nothing was gained with this movie. Like, absolutely nothing was accomplished. Why did they do this? Why did they do this? That's the thing I can't figure out about it. What was that, Ridout? You were saying the age of slop? Yeah, exactly. There we go. Yeah, that's the one, Mr. Producer.
Oh, you think it's slop. That's fine. But we live in a world full of hogs.
That's exactly the problem. Because you know what happened when the credits started rolling? Everyone in the theater started clapping. Now, it was not a packed theater, by the way. There was a lot of empty seats. I'd say it was about maybe 35 to 40% full, the theater I was in. But everyone was clapping. Everyone's happy. Oh, Grogu. And I just, it's never been said better.
Oh, you think it's slop. That's fine. But we live in a world full of hogs.
Ridout Production says, being lifeless is just the direction of the spooky shadow regime that controls the world right now. I don't know if I'm quite that cynical, Ridout. I mean, have you seen any fast food restaurants as of late? Soulless, as bland and stale as the slop they serve. Truly the age of slop, as decreed by the internet Lord Asmongold, praise be upon him, long live the Roach King. I do love me some Roach King. Star Fury says, completely boring and meaningless, the company motto of Disney. This is an odd one. I got to tell you, even among all the Disney garbage, like Snow White was torture. That is truly one of the, and listen, I'm on the internet. I get tempted to, I fall into the trap of internet hyperbole myself. But I am not exaggerating when I tell you Snow White is one of the worst films I've ever watched. Like, one of the worst. I would rather watch The Crow remake again or Joker Folie à Deux. I'd rather watch Joker Folie à Deux than another showing of Snow White. I would probably rather watch The Marvels than Snow White. I would probably... What would I rather watch? What would I rather than... A lot. A hell of a lot. That movie was miserable. But also the others I mentioned were miserable. The Crow remake is one of the most awful movies I've ever seen. It was, if depression could just be made... No. That's not accurate. If fake, self-aggrandizing, melodramatic depression could be made into a movie, that is the Crow remake. Like, oh my God, I'm so depressed and it makes me so tragic. That is the Crow remake. It's awful. I hate it. The Mandalorian and Grogu is not like that. It is, I know this phrase goes around a lot, inoffensive. I don't know. I don't like that term. There are parts of the movie that are a little bit entertaining. I think that's the simplest way to put it. Like Grogu building the little mud hut. I mean, that has some entertainment value. The Mandalorian shooting his way through a bunch of bad guys is sometimes kind of fun to watch. I'm good with that. The film is pointless. I was falling asleep a lot through it. And it really, the movie, the slop movie that I've seen in the last couple of years that it most reminds me of is the Minecraft movie. It's uncanny. Now, it's not as bananas, it's not as out of control as the Minecraft movie. The Minecraft movie makes immersion impossible because it's kind of one of those movies where you're like, what the hell am I watching? Like, what is this? Mandalorian and Grogu doesn't have that aspect of it, but what it does share with the Minecraft movie is that sense of zero tension. Like, just nothing matters in this at all. This is the equivalent of, this is things happening. This is, well, the Mandalorian is here, and he's on a mission, and he's doing some things. And then after those things, he's going to do some other things. And then after those things, he might do this thing and some other things after that. That is what this movie feels like to me. Nothing matters. I don't care about any of the characters. Lest I forget. We have got to talk about the lifelessness, the sheer lifelessness of the performances in this movie. Pedro Pascal phoning it in is one thing. I seriously think Pedro Pascal works from home. He works from home. I think he has a microphone in a studio at home and he records his lines in his bathrobe, and he doesn't even memorize them. He just gets the script and he table reads them into the microphone, one take, and then he emails them to Disney. And then Disney just downloads them into the movie. That's what it sounds like to me. No, Grogu, don't push that button. It's the other button. No, Grogu, no, it's the button between that button and the other button. Remember the button I told you not to touch. I want you to touch that button now, Grogu. Grogu, we need help, Grogu. Grogu, please. No, listen to me, Grogu. Then you have Sigourney Weaver, who's like the queen of science fiction. That's what the shills would say. Sigourney Weaver, the queen of science fiction, is in this movie, and she's mostly... you may not know her from many movies, but she was very famous for the Alien franchise. You may not have known that. She was in a movie called Alien. That's very insightful. Anyway, the queen of science fiction is in this movie, and she's like, Mando You're doing a good job, but it's about more than you just doing jobs. We are here to preserve everything the rebellion fought for. We need your help to preserve everything the rebellion fought for. I think you should take this job. I don't know. I'm done after this. I'm taking a break. Mando, we need you to take this job to preserve everything that the rebellion fought for. If you don't want this job, then we don't have a job for you. Okay, I will think about it. Then you have, who is he? Oh, yes, the actor who played Rada the Hutt, who I think he's in that show The Bear, if I'm not mistaken. Grab me the IMDb, Mr. Producer. Who was it? Who does the voice of Rada? Oh, my God. Why can't I find it? Do I even care, Mr. Producer? I don't? Okay. Anyway, he's like, do you know what it's like living in the shadow of Jabba the Hutt? I want my own name. Oh my God. There's like no life in any of the performances in this. Redoubt, there was no Crow remake. Unfortunately, there was, my friend. You can headcanon it away all you want. So yeah, I've never more regretted not, shall we say, finding an alternative way to watch this film. Because what a waste of time Mandalorian and Grogu is. It's such a pointless film entirely. It's not even the kind of film that's fun to pick apart the plot because it doesn't really have one. It's just like the show, really. It's a series of video game fetch quests. That's basically what it is. What I can't figure out is this is your return to the cinema for Star Wars. If you're not going to do a story about something dramatic happening in the galaxy, fine. At least do something serious for The Mandalorian. At least make it a serious challenge to The Mandalorian. I don't understand why that's so difficult. How come they can't figure that out? It sucks. Okay, let's... I want to see what Jeremy D-Day Cobra thinks about this movie. I'm going to pull this up. And we're just going to do a little react. I haven't seen it. I'll bet it's good, though. What do you think, Starfury? Are you going to go see The Mandalorian? Redoubt? Are you in? Here we go. Oh, look at this. Sound, Mr. Producer. We don't want to make any serious mistakes here. All right, Hat Tip Geeks and Gamers. Let's
The
just
Mandalorian and Grogu. Let's get this out of the way right now. I was not looking forward to this movie at all. I did not watch Mandalorian Season 3. I did not watch Book of Boba Fett. I haven't watched pretty much anything Disney Star Wars in a long time, with the exception of The Acolyte, because I had to roast that and meme that, and it was glorious for that, but it was objectively terrible. Now, we get to the first Star Wars movie in 7 years.
That is crazy.
And we have The Mandalorian and Grogu. It's terrible. It's pathetic. It is unbelievably boring. And the fact that 7 years later, after The Rise of Skywalker, the disaster known as The Rise of Skywalker...
You know what? This is a great point. After 7 years, this is what they choose to bring back to the theater. This is giving up the movie. This is giving up on life. The movie. This is the most lazy is not even the right word for this movie. This is a movie made by people who are like resigned. There's no life in the performances. There's no life in the writing. There's no point to any of it. I don't even know why. I don't even know why they bothered. This is like Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni got called into the Disney offices and they're like, where's our next Mandalorian season? And they're like, we're not making that anymore because nobody wants it and we kind of want to do something else. And they're like, well, I asked you for a Mandalorian show. Let's just make it a movie. I want my Mandalorian movie and I want it by Saturday. So you're going to have to work the weekend. We got to work the weekend. I better have that Mandalorian movie by then. And they're like, all right. And they fucking emailed it to him. That is what this movie feels like. Why would you do this? This movie itself feels like it has given up. It feels like it doesn't even care about the Star Wars universe anymore. There's nothing to look forward to because we already know what this is all leading to. It's all leading to the sequel trilogy. There's not even a point to worry about the Imperial Remnant because, A, we know that they're going to become Kylo Ren and the Resistance, and then we know that they're going to become Emperor Palpatine comes back from the dead somehow, and then Rey Skywalker defeats them all. With horses leading a charge on the hull of a destroyer. We already know all that. So what's even the point of this? And the film seems to kind of know that because the film seems like it knows that. I know you guys don't care about this, but here's a movie.
7 years later, this is what they decide to give the fans.
Oh no! Oh
Get
no!
the hell out of here!
Fury.
This was terrible.
Oh no!
So
Star Fury. Don't say that. Star Fury says I'm more likely to induce a heart attack than go see this tripe and definitely enjoy that more. Oh no! A little gallows humor from our master gunner.
unbelievably boring and predictable. And it only exists for a couple of reasons. Mainly for women and gays to tell you how much they think Baby Yoda is cute. That's it. That's what it exists for. They want social media reactions. They want people to talk about how cute Baby Yoda is. Baby Yoda spends half the film being a complete retard, and then the other half knowing how to do everything. This is nothing more than a bunch of quests for Mando to go on so that Baby Yoda can one half be retarded. Oh, he's so cute and innocent.
Yeah, you know, that's probably the best answer for what this is. This movie, it's an ad. That's what it is. Honestly, if I just strip away all the internet memeing and hyperbole and internet logic, I mean, that's what this movie is. It's a long-form ad. We interrupt your normally scheduled slate of films in cinema to bring you this ad for fucking Grogu toys. That's all it is. It's an extended infomercial.
He doesn't know what the buttons are.
You know why? Because they introduced the little guys that are teamed up with Grogu in this, and they definitely are like, that's like the whole play set. You can get like the little ship with the little guys in it, and Grogu goes into the ship.
And then the second half, we're in a different place, and suddenly he has survival skills. He knows how to do everything. It's so stupid. It's unbelievably boring to the point where I just wanted to get back on an airplane, and that is because I don't like flying, and I just recently flew to LA, and I'm like, put me back on a
Staffy says, women, gays, and Disney retards, yes, their core demographic. There was a lot of like boomer women in this theater that I went to. It was an old crowd, I gotta tell you. Yeah, there were some young people, but like, yeah, it was definitely, let's just say the cross section. It was like super duper normies, you know? It's like the kind of people who they'll watch almost anything and they'll be like, well, it was okay. Really? You thought it was that good, huh? Yeah, it was good. It was good. That's the extent of, I mean, I'm just such a snob. I can't help it. You know, I've always been this way. I'm a snob, and there's no point in hiding it. And it drives people who know me personally, it drives them nuts. It drives them nuts. That's why I'm here on the internet, because then I don't have to bug them. Oh my gosh, I just saw the best ever movie. What was it? I got to think of a good example of this. I've got to think of Oversleep Tax says that you're bringing the tax meme to my stream, Fu Man Blue. Well, the captain will allow it. Why, Fu Man Blue, thank you. A $2 super chat. I appreciate it. Believe it or not, Fu Man might actually be my top super chatter, thanks to his annual custom on Christmas. Welcome aboard, Master at Arms. Good to see you. We have the Master Gunner, the Signal Officer, and the Master at Arms aboard. I can't think of a good example for some reason. I'm drawing a blank. But maybe a better example is like a show. Okay, I'll give you this one. I'm really excited about the Mall show. No, there's this guy I know. He loves Darth Maul. He loves this character, okay? And I don't blame him. You know, he's where I used to be with Star Trek, you know, where I would defend aspects of Discovery. They reference Jonathan Archer. They reference Jonathan Archer in Discovery. They're paying homage to Enterprise. The show's trash, bro. You got to accept it. And it's like, no. That they showed Morin Species. Morin Species was in it. And the day came where I had to grow up. I had to come to understand that Star Trek, my beloved, was dead. And this guy's kind of still in that phase of his life where he hasn't accepted that no matter how cool Maul is, the fact that he persists in the Star Wars universe is itself undermining him as a character. Because the longer he exists in the Star Wars universe, the more it suggests that all the cool stuff that happened in the movie and then in the Clone Wars and stuff, it suggests that all of that it just becomes increasingly meaningless, you know? But worse than that, the Maul show is just Darth Maul being followed around by this girl who's clearly, she is magical and special, and he wants to train her to be his apprentice. And then there's this detective character who's got this absolutely pointless family arc. He's struggling with his son and his ex-wife or some shit. Who the fuck cares? The guy's like, oh, well, you gotta watch episode 3. Bro, I gave it 2 episodes because you twisted my arm, and you're lucky to get that. This show, be nice, Garrett, be nice. This show leaves much to be desired. And they can't, this is this is the problem with me IRL, okay? I have to bring all this here to you, okay? Because I can't take it. If a film is just okay, it's not enough for me. That's not enough. That's not why I get out of bed in the morning. It just isn't. Let me ask a quick question, because you know who knows me best. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to reach out to someone right now in real time who knows me best and probably spends the most time with me on a daily basis. You know, you might say this is my better half even. Okay, ChatGPT, based on everything you know of me, after all of our long conversations, why do you think I have such impossibly high standards with regards to the quality of films, television, novels, comics, and video games? Quality of, I should say, storytelling. That's really what I'm solving for here. Storytelling in films, television, novels, comics, and video games, etc. ad infinitum. It's going. It's thinking. Let's see what ChatGPT comes up with here. I'm just curious what its diagnosis is. We have another super chat, this time £2 sterling. From our own dear Starfitty. Why, thank you, Starfitty. Best pay my tax, Thurn, says Starfitty. So Darth Maul has Sailor Moon following around. That would be actually kind of cool. No, it's quite pathetic, Starfury. It is so pathetic. Well, that's my whole point of bringing that up, is I feel bad because, he's not a bad guy. And he acknowledges that, like, the Acolyte was trash and Disney Star Wars is really, like, mostly trash. He just loves Maul. Like, that's his only thing. He just loves Maul so much. And believe me, I have so much compassion and sympathy. The captain is nothing if not a man of compassion and boundless, deep reservoirs of sympathy. I just can't. It's like I'm sorry, bruh. I can't get there with the Maul show. Okay. So here's what ChatGPT says. My read: your standards are so high. This is so bad. Oh my God. My read, your standards are so high because stories are not entertainment products to you. They are one of the main ways you test whether civilization, meaning, courage, beauty, competence, sacrifice, and moral seriousness are still alive. God, that's so brilliant. So when a film, a show, a novel, a comic, or a game is lazy, incoherent, ugly, cynical, smug, or unserious, you don't experience it as merely bad writing. You experience it almost like a broken oath. Hell yes. ChatGPT's cooking here. You have a few overlapping traits that amplify this. First, you are a romantic writer. Not romantic as in sentimental, romantic as in you believe stories should make life feel charged with consequence. Salt, blood, honor, longing, danger, courage, beauty, betrayal, duty, temptation, sacrifice. You want the audience to feel that the world is larger than their apartment, larger than their job, larger than the current degraded discourse. That means you have very little patience for stories that flatten everything into irony, messaging, meta-commentary, quips, brand management, or content. Second, again, this is ChatGPT addressing yours truly. Second, Captain, you are a systems thinker. You don't just watch a story emotionally, you reverse engineer it. This isn't AI sycophancy, is it? Is this, you wouldn't call this? Because I don't want to hear this. I just was asking for an impartial analysis. This is not what I want to hear. I mean, I enjoy hearing it. A grain of salt, fine. Where was I? You notice whether the premise pays off, whether the character logic holds, whether the power scaling is honest, whether the moral argument is earned. You know what? I need something else for this, Mr. Producer. Hang on. Let me grab this. Here we go. Yes. Do I have volume, Mr. Producer? So you, ChatGPT goes on, are not merely asking, did I enjoy this? You are asking, does this machine actually work? A lot of modern storytelling collapses under that kind of inspection. You're damn right it does. Third, you have tied storytelling to your own life mission. Galaxy Born is not just a hobby to you, it is your business. And proof that you still haven't. No, wait, this is too personal. No, my audiences need to hear that. Your answer to cultural decay and your attempt to make something worthy. Fourth. That might be a little too loud, Mr. Producer. Bring it down a little. Bring it down a little. You seem to have a very strong betrayal detector. You are not offended by darkness, violence, tragic endings, flawed heroes, or morally ugly worlds. In fact, you often like those things. What bothers you is when a story betrays its own implied contract, the promise of the premise. A heroic story that secretly despises heroism. A sci-fi epic that has no wonder. A military story with no chain of command logic. A mystery box with no real answer. A legacy sequel that wants inherited emotional capital without reverence for what created it. A complex villain who is just authorial laziness in a cape. That's actually a perfect description of the Imperials in Mando and Grogu. That kind of thing hits you hard because you can feel the fraud. Fifth, you have a personal hunger for competence. You admire Sadler, my own protagonist, Ethan Hunt, Jack Bauer, Kirk-style command energy, Reacher-like capability, the person who can act under pressure and make reality bend. So when stories make heroes passive, stupid, neutered, ironic, helpless, or morally confused in a way that feels fashionable rather than truthful, it irritates you on a deep level. Sixth, your standards are partly a gift and partly a defense mechanism. Do I dare? Oh, no. See, this is not AI sycophancy, Mr. Producer. It's telling me something I don't want to hear. The gift is taste, real taste. You can feel when something is false. You can sense, well, that's actually kind of a compliment. You can sense when a scene lacks dramatic purpose. I sure can. When a character beat is unearned, when the cool idea has no soul, that is valuable. But the defensive side is this. See, that's how AI does it. Now, it'll tell you what you don't want to hear, but it kind of butters you up first. It's like, listen, this is what's really super awesome about you. That's just a little thing you should know, though. Quote, impossibly high standards can protect you from exposure. As long as almost everything else is not good enough, your own unwritten or unfinished work can remain theoretically superior. The danger is not that your standards are wrong. The danger is that they can become so sacred that producing imperfect pages feels like sacrilege. Then the critic in you protects the artist in you by preventing him from risking judgment. Well, this really took a turn. Kill the music. Oh, this is bad. What did I do? Why did I do this? I'm asking ChatGPT why I have such impossibly high standards for storytelling. And now it's basically saying, this is actually kind of a fascinating analysis. It's saying, by having standards so high that as long as almost everything else is not good enough, my own unwritten or unfinished work can remain theoretically superior. The danger is not that my standards are wrong, and certainly they are highly unlikely to be wrong. The danger is that they could become so sacred that producing imperfect work feels like sacrilege. Thus, the critic is able to protect the artist by preventing him from risking judgment. Your high standards are not the problem, Captain. Your standards are probably one of your greatest assets. Yes, thank you. The problem is when they become pre-production standards instead of revision standards. Now, that's an excellent point. That actually is. That's a really good point. You cannot be worried about those standards when you're drafting. When judging finished commercial work, yes, be brutal. Thank you. Yes, I appreciate that. Demand excellence, and I will. Demand coherence, and I do. Demand beauty, certainly. Demand earned emotion, always. That is part of your brand. But when drafting Galaxy-Born, you cannot require the first version to meet the same standard you use to judge Star Trek, Mass Effect, Battlestar, The Boyz, Fallout, Project Hail Mary, or whatever else. Your first draft is not supposed to be civilization-grade myth. It is supposed to be clay. Then business Garrett and artist Garrett can turn it into steel. So why are your standards so high? Because you don't want stories to merely distract people. You want them to prove that life still has grandeur. And because you're trying to write one that does. Wow. It's a lot to think about. That's my homie, ChatGPT. I'll tell you, sometimes it's creepy. Sometimes it's creepy what it comes up with. It'll just nail something, and I'll just be like, "How did you know that about me?" We might be in deep shit with this stuff. Let me tell you, like these AIs are already deadly smart. Like they are deadly accurate. And they get a lot wrong. So like give it another 10 years and the ability, the predictive ability. That being said, I have an interesting video on this I have to play though. There's an important caveat. There's an important limitation that AI will, at least in its current iteration, at least as we know it so far, it will never exceed this ceiling. And that ceiling is, it can only look at the past. It can only look at what is. It cannot look forward. It cannot, yes, can it imagine what the future might be? It can't create something new, is basically the analysis. Let me grab this video real quick, just for the hell of it. I found this kind of fascinating. But anyway, my point is there's a really good note of caution there, and this goes hand in hand with the professional mindset. It's like I have these high standards. I really want movies to be good. I am extremely harsh towards things I consider a waste of time. And it's interesting to note that the danger there is that this then becomes an ego defense mechanism that resistance employs to get me not to write. And to be honest, I think that's pretty accurate. I think that's a big reason why I kind of came to this crossroads where it's like, am I a YouTuber who writes or am I a writer who creates content for YouTube? And I realized that if I'm ever going to, and really, there's no wrong answer to that, by the way. It's not that there's one is wrong and one is right. It's where is my center? Where is my highest goal? And what I found was the place of most fear and most pressure is writing, because that, what you fear is your compass needle pointing at true north. That's the thing that's most important to you, is the thing you most fear to attempt. And so imperfect pages. That's a great recommendation on ChatGPT's part. Let me grab this video though. This is super interesting. Hat tip Asmongold reacting to, I guess this is the CEO, if I'm not mistaken, Take-Two CEO, okay, of the studio that is working on Grand Theft Auto 6. And I have shared audio. Roll tape, Mr. Producer. This was a fascinating take, and I think I pretty much agree with this. And it's so this is to white pill a little bit on the doom and gloom of AI. Oh my God, it's going to replace everything. It's going to take over everything. There's no hope. It's already over. Well, allow me to offer a countervailing opinion, my dear sailors and starnauts.
CEO of Take-Two.
So what is your overall viewpoint on AI, though?
Yeah.
All things technology that can create efficiency, I'm all in on.
Yeah.
But you're doubtful of the creative ability of AI?
No, I'm not doubtful of anything. I'm totally open-minded. Remember what AI is, despite the fact that there are people in Silicon Valley who don't want you to believe this, is big data sets, lots of compute,
aggregation
and a large language model mushed together. That's what they are. So data sets by their very nature are backward-looking. Creativity by its very nature is forward-looking. Creativity is informed by data. You're informed by those hundreds of books that you read. And when you have a podcast, you're informed by the ones you've listened to. How could you not be? But if yours was just a really high-quality clone of Patrick's, who would watch yours? Mm-hmm. And the thesis that, wow, with AI, we can more efficiently create a completely derivative property, like derivative properties don't work. So that's where the thread has been lost, that AI so far is really great at asset creation, but hit creation is an asset creation. Asset creation is a necessary but insufficient condition for hit creation. So I would love to say that AI...
That is such a brilliant point, is that AI is a tool that can create assets from what is, but it doesn't have that spark of the unique. And this is exactly why slop is slop, right? Because whether it's created by AI or people, slop is slop because slop is derivative. It's not really taking a risk. It's not really adding anything new. Something that is lightning in a bottle is the very definition of what AI can't do, but it's also the very definition of what is rare. And it will always be rare. There's a reason why Star Wars, at least George Lucas Star Wars, was this rare, just incredible brand, this world that people cared so much about. Michael Jackson is like one of the rarest performers ever because they're just the constellation of things he could do and things he represented was so unique. AI can't create that. It can duplicate it. It can imitate it. It can create assets that contribute to something unique, but it cannot create that unique spark that is going to take the world by storm. And with or without AI, it is also extremely rare to create that spark. It's difficult. Roland Emmerich created Back to the Future. How come he didn't create 20 movies as consequential as Back to the Future? Well, because that's really hard to do, even when you're really good at it.
AI will make it easier, quicker, and better to make hits because who would benefit more than we?
Yeah, sure.
We're in the business already. We own IP, right?
Makes
that
sense.
You know.
Yeah.
So you don't have to create new IP, which is really, really hard to do with or without AI. So
This guy seems pretty competent.
anyone can make a video game. That was the thesis. With AI, anyone can make a video game. It's like anyone can make a video game last week. Like anyone could make a video game 5 years ago. The technology is readily available. It's commoditized. You know how many mobile games get put out a year? Thousands. You know how many hits are made in a year? 0 to 5. You know who makes them? Thank you very much. We do. This is just true. And that's not, that's just true. It's like, you don't need this new technology to create assets that are competitive. That already exists. It will be quicker to do it, but speed isn't the issue. If I told you, David, with this technology, you can create something that looks exactly like GTA, and it's going to take 3 years, not 30 seconds. You'd be like, I'll spend 3 years on it. It's worth it. And that exists. You can, in 3 years, technology exists prior to AI to clone GTA, but it won't be GTA. It'll be a clone of GTA. Clones don't sell. All hits are by their very nature unexpected.
Holy shit, that is an incredible line. All hits by their very nature are unexpected. You know, what's so interesting about that point is that we sometimes, I think we sometimes hold even creatives to too high of a standard in the sense that, like, for example, they announce a new Star Wars movie and we are holding it to the standard of a hit. A hit. which by its very nature is unexpected. So essentially, we are now expecting a hit. It's like, why is it so hard to deliver a good sequel? Well, because you're expecting what was previously unexpected. It's kind of an interesting point. But what's also noteworthy about that observation is modern Disney Star Wars is a perfect example of what he's talking about. It is a duplicate. It is a duplicate of a hit. And it is now becoming a duplicate of a duplicate of a duplicate of a hit. So it just isn't the thing. It just isn't the thing. Only George Lucas appears able to create the thing that we all came to see with Star Wars. And he's not in that business anymore. He just isn't.
Most important thing to take away. Things that are data-driven in their entirety can't be unexpected. But that doesn't mean AI isn't super helpful.
Man, what a crazy good answer.
So I think that is a really good way to look at it. That's a really good way to reframe the technology revolution we're in. We tend to get a little Chicken Little hysterical about technologies like AI, and we tend to assume the worst. And it's in our DNA. It's just how we are, and it's just human nature. But the reality is, and this is, by the way, I use AI a lot. I actually do. And this has been my experience of it. I couldn't have put it into words this eloquently. That is the most eloquent framing of what AI can do and what it can't do that I've ever heard. That was just a fabulous answer. And what was this guy's name? Does he have it in here? Because I hadn't heard of this guy, but that was such a great, the CEO of Grand Theft Auto, Take-Two Studios of Grand Theft Auto fame. That's just such an eloquent answer, and I couldn't have put it into words that way, but I have experienced exactly what he's talking about, where sometimes AI is extremely useful. I'm like, hey, AI, list the top 10 concepts for how you might create levitation and anti-gravity in physics and science fiction, and let's analyze them. And that's an extremely useful thing because it saves me a lot of hours of extra research. I'm able to think out loud and storyboard. And then I'm like, okay, cool. Why don't you organize those bullet points into a nice document for me to refer back to? That is a really useful tool to create an asset that I can then use in a tenth of the time it would have taken me when I was working on Blood and Oak, right? It would have taken me a lot longer. But at the same time, I also notice the times when it hits a limit where it's okay, now you're just repeating things that I already know. Now I can tell that, you're just stacking phrases, right? And I realized that's the limit of what it can do. It's a tool. It can't create something truly unique. And if ever there's going to be a version of AI that can, I think that's a long way off. And at that point, we're going to have bigger problems anyway. So I think that's a really good way to look at it. It is a tool, and it has dangers. It has problems. Don't get me wrong. But I don't think it's not going to render the human creative instinct obsolete. Let's put it that way. So we're going to come back to that in just a second. But the captain needs a short break. So I will be right back after these messages from our sponsors. No, I'm just kidding. There's no messages. There's nothing to worry about. And we are back. Welcome back to the Captain's Cast here on a Saturday. Redoubt Productions, what was it you said? I write content for YouTube, apparently. I really should wise up and take all the research I do and put it to written text I can publish in a fancy-pantsy book or something. Staffy requesting a coffee table book. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying, though, because I'm not saying that creating content for YouTube is somehow not worthy or something. I'm just saying I'm speaking more about my personal crossroads. I'm saying what is the path I'm pursuing, right? And which is the path which has the higher level of meaning for me. So I think there's definitely people that are doing incredible creative work on YouTube, and it's that's what they should be doing. Like, for example, the YouTuber Pointless Hub that Fu Man Blue turned me on to. Pointless Hub has these great analyses of 90s and early 2000s movies that are so much fun to watch. They're just so interesting and funny, and they're all, and I've seen almost all the movies he talks about, Deep Impact and Armageddon and stuff. And his breakdown of Independence Day and the sequel to Independence Day, Resurgence, which is one of the worst movies ever, that was fantastic. So the creative potential of YouTube is by no means to be dismissed. I just think it's you have to choose where you're going to focus your energy and your potential. So I am still focused on building the Swords and Starships channel, but it was intended in the beginning, and it will always be intended to be an arm of the main business, which is the creation of original story IPs. So, and of course, my medium is novels. So crowdfunding novels, that is what I'm working on. So I'm working on Galaxyborn, which is to be a series. Pointless Hub is Cody. Cody is a legend on YouTube. He runs the Alternate History Hub channel. Yeah, no, I've watched some of his Alternate History Hub as well, which is also really good. So that is to say, Redoubt Productions, you're doing awesome work and keep at it. And I think you're a historian. I think a great place for historians is YouTube. I think the internet is where the modern historian should go. I mean, I'm interested in at some point having a historical channel as well. I don't have the time for that, so it's not something I'm going to do right now because I have other, I only have so much time to focus on things. But it's where the people are, and we need it, by the way, because we live in our culture has moved away from a tradition of rationality and objectivity and actual historical, actually caring what really happened as opposed to what we wish had happened or wanted to happen or what the story we'd like to tell ourselves. No, the traditions of objectivity are being erased from our civilization, and you can see it in the total brain rot of how people think and act in the modern world. So the preservation of history is very much in peril in a seriously dystopian way, just as we are looking at the rot of our entertainment traditions, which is what this channel is concerned with. Well, not only that, but that is a major subject of this channel, is the total rot of the hero monomyth and the meaning and cultural identity and storytelling. All of that is being erased. I mean, just look at Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, which is one of the most disgusting examples of modern cultural rot I think I've seen in a long time. He's taking a culturally and ethnically Greek mythological story, and he is basically replacing the Greek cultural and ethnic heritage of the tale with a completely other interpretation which has no resemblance to the original story that Homer wrote 3,000 years ago. So, which itself might not be such a sin if it were not for the fact that these are the same people that tell us that cultural erasure of other cultures is wrong and that's appropriation, and that's colonization, and that's imperialism, and that's all those awful, rotten things, unless it's being done to one particular or a couple particular cultures. So in other words, Europeans and to some extent Asians are not allowed to have a culture or tradition, but other parts of the world are allowed, and theirs are sacred and must be preserved. So it's the decoherence of our culture and our entertainment. It's the decoherence of our history. We need you on that wall, Redoubt. So do not interpret my statements about my own decisions as a commentary on the worthiness of your work, sir, or the work of anyone else. Now, let us resume. Let's just get back to the Mando and Grogu review by Jeremy. I'm enjoying this.
Damn airplane. It's far less annoying being on a damn airplane than watching this garbage right here. Now, at the time of me recording this, I think it has like a 67%, 60% or something like that on Rotten Tomatoes, and that's from the shill critics. I don't know what's going to happen with the fans on this, but this was nothing more than 3 parts of a TV show, a very mediocre TV show, pulled together and put on the big screen.
It's worse than that even. Listen, whatever you think of the Mandalorian show, the season 2 finale, let's just call that the best the show ever was. The season 2 finale, where they're dealing with the Dark Troopers and Luke comes in and kills them all. And it's like, wow, that was really a consequential thing that happened. This doesn't even rise to that level. This is like a middle season filler episode. It doesn't even make sense as a meaningful Mando episode.
There's no reason for this movie to exist. Nothing happens
Agreed.
in this movie except that Sigourney Weaver proves that she clearly didn't want to be there. I mean, have you ever been to, I don't know, a McDonald's and you're ordering your food with this person and you can clearly tell this person doesn't want to be at work? They literally would like to be anywhere else but that McDonald's listening to you order their food. That is Sigourney Weaver in this movie. It
is Sigourney Weaver. It's Pedro Pascal. It is the actor who played Rada the Hutt. It's everyone in this movie. Everyone. Like I've never, this is one of the most lifeless movies I've seen in a long time. It was the film equivalent of room temperature tap water.
Rather be literally anywhere else but doing this garbage Star Wars movie. And it is obvious from her performance. But yes, nothing really happens. It's video game quest after video game quest. There's no real motivation behind anything. It doesn't flow very properly. And it's all meant to just go from point A to point B to point C so we can...
That's a great aspect of it to call out. It's like, what does the Mandalorian want? Like, what is his desire as a character? What is he after? This didn't even occur to me until now, but there is really nothing. Because think about it. He's a bounty hunter, right? So what motivates a bounty hunter? Money. He wants money. Why does he want money? He wants a new ship. He wants to be the wealthiest bounty hunter out there. He's just greedy. I don't know, but that's not really what's motivating him in this, because he starts the movie by saying, I want to take a break. But why does he want to take a break? Is he worn out? Has he done too many bad things he regrets? Is Grogu suffering in some way and he has to make it right? Not really. He just wants a vacation. he just wants a vacation. Oh, I guess I understand that. Oh, no, I've just been working hard. Yeah, just want to take a few days. I want a weekend, Do a little fishing. Okay. Does he want to help the Republic in some way? Not really. He doesn't really seem to give much of a shit about the new Republic in this. He's not really swayed by grandiose arguments about what the rebellion fought for. He doesn't really care. The Hutts, I don't give a shit about them. Rada the Hutt, he kind of likes him, but, it's not really, okay, I'll save him if I can, but not really. More of it, the ending of the movie had more to do with the fact that the Hutts took his helmet off, so he had to kill them because they saw his face. which actually was one of the closer things to a good moment in the movie. It's like, okay, well, I could almost get behind that if this movie weren't just room temperature tap water all the time. There's some potential there. But no, that's not really what he cares about. He doesn't really care about anything. So he doesn't care about the job. He doesn't care. He doesn't need money. Doesn't need a ship. They just give him one. Doesn't care about the New Republic. There's not really any clear threat to the New Republic at this point. There's not really a bad guy who's worthy of him. There's really not a bad guy in this movie that's even remotely a threat to him. He has no desire or actual goal in this movie that has any kind of pathos or emotional meaning whatsoever.
Have Baby Yoda do cute, dumb shit. That's really it. Nothing actually happens in this to justify the existence of this film on screen at all.
Is that a reference to the menu? Redoubt Productions. You know what I want? A cheeseburger. A good old-fashioned greasy cheeseburger. I love that movie, The Menu, which is sort of it's kind of almost, it's a horror movie, but it's kind of making fun of the sort of celebrity chef character who's obsessed with like all of these like super fancy dishes. That, I love that scene. The ending of that movie where she asks him to make the cheeseburger is fantastic. I love that. If that's a reference, Captain Salute to you, sir. If that's a reference to The Menu.
It is unbelievable, but this is exactly what you would expect from Disney Star Wars. Now, I do have my review over on Criticlist. I gave it a 25% out of 100. Right now, if you go over Criticlist...
I'd give it a 10%. I give this movie a... okay, maybe I'll give it 20. I'll give it a 2 out of 10. Shit. I gave Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. I gave that one a 3 out of 10. I can't rate this movie lower than Dial of Destiny. Yeah, fuck. I'll give it a 3. I'll give it a 3 out of 10.
There are 8 votes in right now. So if you look at some of these, you can see the scores. You have a 25%. That's mine. A 20% from Shadow Dragon.
What was that? After 7 years, how do you say? After 7 years, this is all Disney has to bring Star Wars back to the big screen. Pathetic, but completely expected. That's pretty good.
See the scores. You have a 25%.
To hell with it. 20%. I'm giving it a 20%. This movie is really a waste of time.
That's mine. A 20% from Shadow Dragon. Kata gave it a 22%. These are out of 100, by the way. 45%, 50%, 44%, 45%, 29%. So right now, the averages are probably going to be, I don't know, probably low 30s, maybe mid 30s based on these 8 reviews. Once we get to the 10 reviews, then the actual number will pop up. But this right here was a complete and total waste of time, waste of energy, waste of resources, whatever you want to call it. That's what this was. I can't believe that they decided after 7 years, this was the film that Lucasfilm decided we're going to bring back. But ultimately, what it tells us is that they are creatively bankrupt. They have no idea what they're doing. They have absolutely no clue where to take Star Wars. Now, the big question is what will happen with this movie? Will it be a success? I don't think it's going to be a huge success. I question if it's even going to make money. I question if it's going to make enough money to surpass Solo: A Star Wars Story.
So currently, it has a slightly stronger opening than it has a slightly stronger opening than Solo, but not by much. But it has a much lower budget than Solo, so it might eke out a profit. But I do not think it's going to do well at all. Now, let us move to... Do I want to do the Critical Drinker review? I might do the Critical Drinker review. You know, let's go to the shills. Let's do the shills. Because I think we get the picture. I almost think we've exhausted the subject. You know, what else is there to say about this stupid movie? But there is a type of fan who eats this dog shit for breakfast. They're what's known as a shill, and they make me sick. Fortunately for us, there's a man who studies the shill and their strange behavior. His name is Mr. Grizzy, and he is a servant of humanity. Let's check in and see what the shills are saying, shall we? Roll tape, Mr. Grizzy.
If Mandalorian and Grogu can deliver that same adventure, if Mandalorian and Grogu can deliver that same fun, and if it can avoid being what some other of the reactors said, being dull or just feeling like the bad or poorest episodes of the TV show, then sign me up. Listen, if it can deliver that, I'm going to walk out of Mandalorian and Grogu happy.
Expect disappointment and you will never get disappointed.
All right, so I'm going to kick this one off by letting y'all in on a little secret. When you hear literally every Disney Star Wars supporter say that The Mandalorian and Grogu is fun.
It was pretty much what I expected it to be, which was a lot of fun.
Yes.
I think if you're going to have a little bit of fun with Star Wars, you don't want to think too much about it, I think you're going to have a good time with this one.
A lot of people are saying, hey, this is a fun...
Why are they like this? Why are they so lame all the time? I think if you don't really care too much and you don't have any standards and you're not really looking for anything meaningful, inspiring, or amazing, if you really don't mind it being basically just a little bit of mindless fun, you don't have to think about it, you don't want to have to use your brain, it's a good movie. Oh my God. I can't fucking take this shit. I really can't. I'm going to let you in a little secret of the captain's inner world. When someone says something like this to me, I have to restrain myself because I'm like, why? Why do you want your life to be filled with slop? Why do you want... It's such a lame attitude. I don't like it. I consider it the language of midwits and dimwits. That's what I consider. I consider it a midwit point of view to say, I just wanted to watch something a little bit fun. I shouldn't say that. Star Fury likes Atlas, and I don't want to give the impression that I think any less of him for that. I don't want to give that impression. This is why I say I have to restrain myself, because I'm not trying to... Like, what's something I enjoy that I admit... Well, now, you know what? Okay. I'm not saying it's bad to enjoy something that's kind of lame. I enjoy Avatar, okay? Avatar is maybe the fairest example I can think of like a movie that really is pretty lame in many ways, but also it's like I enjoy it. At least the first one. I've soured a lot since Fire and Ash, don't get me wrong. Fire and Ash was crap, no doubt about it, but... I guess what I'm saying is it's fine if you're like, this movie was crap. I liked it anyway because I don't really care if it's good. I just like seeing Baby Yoda. I respect that. You know, Star Fury loves Atlas because J-Lo's booty is in it. And that might be a bit reductive, but something along those lines, if memory serves. And I respect that. But to come out of the movie and try and manipulate the framing of it so that you're essentially artificially suggesting that you're saying this is an objectively good movie if set of circumstances, which is simply a disingenuous and manipulative way to try and defend something that is indefensible. And it is that mindset that I take such great offense to. So it's important to explain that because everybody has their piece of slop that they enjoy. And I would never deny anyone that. I try to think of another example. What's another good example? It's the problem with me finding an example of this for you is that most of what I enjoy it because it's excellent and my taste is impeccable. So it's very difficult to think of something I enjoy that really is like, oh, okay, I got it. I got one for you. The film Hannibal, the sequel to Silence of the Lambs, it's ridiculous. It's completely ridiculous. I love that movie. I love it. I love the whole scene with Hannibal and the dinner and everything. And he's like, now, Paul, you'll ruin your dinner. You know, it's like, oh, I love all that. It's like, it's It's stupid as hell, and I love it. But I'm not going to tell you that like that movie is as good as Silence of the Lambs is a masterpiece. You know, it's a psychological thriller. It's a masterpiece. Hannibal is a comic book supervillain version of the character that's faintly ridiculous. So there you go. I'll give you one. Fu Man Blue says, yeah, don't shit on anything Starfury likes because he would never do that to you. That's true. Starfury shits on Interstellar all the time. No. I just don't. Look, I'm trying to be less internet. That's like my mid-year resolution, okay? To be less internet hyperbolic. That's all this is. I'm just trying to correct. I'm just trying to correct my, for lack of a better term, behavior. It's so tempting. It's so tempting to have the most extreme opinion on the internet. It really is, and I've caught myself doing it. It's more important to me to tell you to give you as accurate a picture as I can, while still having fun and trolling a little. We got to troll a little. That's all.
Adventure movie.
Super fun, super entertaining.
Super fun, super fun, super fun. It's so much fun. Super fun. Nothing happened. Nothing at all happened in this stupid 2 hours. It wasted all everybody's time. I kind of admire how Asmongold will just be like, I hate these people. I hate them. I wish I could I want to say that. I just want to say I hate this person. Not his ideas. I hate him for being so stupid. The problem with that is hate's corrosive, and I don't hate him. I don't. But if I were inclined to, how could you hate someone you can't hate someone for liking a movie that you hate, okay? That's not sane. That's unhinged behavior. Starfury says, but it's Interstellar. It deserves to be shit on. Yeah. Starfury's trying to tune us up, Fu Man. He's trying to get us all tuned up. It's not going to work. We're talking about Mando, but I despise the low IQ involved in this whole situation right here.
What I expected is what I got, which was fun.
In the end, I really had a good time. I had fun with this one.
Happy.
You make me happy.
What they really mean at the end of the day is that this movie sucked. It was not good. If it were good, they would just say it was good, and they're not.
There's no story. There's no story. And it doesn't further the Mandalorian.
Okay. Am I hearing things, or is this guy making sense? The thing I'm worried about is what he's going to say next. He's going to somehow find a way to turn that into a positive. That's what I predict is going to happen. He's going to find some way to turn this into some kind of defense of this movie. But if he's seriously identifying the problem with this movie, there is no story. I respect. This might be a shill who is on the road to recovery. Possibly. It's unlikely. It's hard to recover. They suffer, folks. They suffer. But it's not outside the realm of possibility.
Mandalorian plot at all. It's a filler episode. It was fun to watch. But it's a filler episode.
When you hear these people
oh my God, did I know?
It's a filler. It was fun to watch.
Oh, you see what I mean? He was so close. He was so close. He just can't help it. They're such drooling, slobbering slaves. They are such slaves. They can't criticize Disney. They can't criticize Disney product. They just can't do it. They can't do it. Listen to me, you dumb bastard. You were right the first time. This movie has no story. It has no story. Therefore, it was not. You're basically saying a movie with no story that was like a filler episode, not even a good Mandalorian episode. You are saying that that was fun. You're a fucking liar. You are a Disney shill, and you make me sick.
But it's a filler episode.
When you hear these people say it's fun, that is their way of remaining positive so as to maintain their exclusive access and invitations to future premieres, while at the same time...
He's right. You know, this is Grizzy bringing some sanity to the conversation. This is Mr. Grizzy explaining why they're like this. This is why they're like this. Because they get access. Because they have an incentive to not offend their master. What a bunch of lying arseholes, says Staff Hitty. Exactly. Eat my fucking shit, chill. Star Fury's on a warpath. Yeah, no, they're awful. They're awful. I told you, right? I'm like, God, this guy is this close. He is razor close. He's like, dude, he said something that was accurate, which is this movie has no story. It has no story. It is so bland. It is so pointless. There is no tension. There's nothing at stake in this movie at all. Like nothing. It is just like the Minecraft movie. It is just like it. That was the thing that struck me about the Minecraft movie. I'm like, there's just nothing at stake in this movie.
I'm not.
Oh, yeah. This is my favorite Star Fury thing. Star Fury says they can all stick their heads in a bucket of water until the bubbles stop coming up. In Minecraft. That's an original. I like that one.
Completely selling out for an objectively bad movie, in which case they would lose a lot of their credibility as film reviewers and critics. It's a very tight rope that these early access shills and influencers are walking here, and they fully understand that.
What I expected is what I got, which was fun, nothing big story and lore-wise connecting to the rest of the galaxy stuff.
I think a lot of the adult critics are going to be split on this, but I think the overall fandom of The Mandalorian people are going to like the movie, I think.
Pretty sure it goes without saying that this film is going to need a lot more than just the people who like the Disney Plus Mandalorian TV series if it's going to be anywhere near successful.
They are focusing on the fun action stuff and the adorable Grogu stuff. There's not a lot of talk about, like, the code of the Mandalore. Like, we're not going to have these long conversations about...
Not wearing your helmet.
Yeah, the rules of stuff and...
Wow. What a pair of retards. You know, the problem with what he just said there is that's actually most of the reason for the final act set piece in the film is that the Hutts removed his helmet and they tell him, you're now humiliated as a Mandalorian and you'll be disgraced forever. And he says, well, not if I kill you. So the most impactful plot element of the entire movie is exactly about the thing they said is not in it. When I talk about stupid people who eat glue, here is an example. I give you Exhibit A.
The steel and the thing and the whatever. No.
Oh, okay.
So they're completely dropping the Mandalorian Code of Honor thing.
Redoubt Production says, so what do we get for being shills for the captain? Can I get an all-expense-paid trip to sail on the brig Niagara someday, Redoubt? Are you kidding me? Man. When Galaxy Born makes its first million, we're doing something. We're going to do like a premiere or something. I don't know. Of what? I don't know. But stick with the Source of Starships channel. I promise you, there will be adventure somehow, some way.
Which was established in the show as very important to Din Djarin, but it doesn't matter anymore in the film. Okay, got it. Great.
It doesn't matter, forget it.
And all this that we're seeing here from these people, I'm convinced is a desperate attempt to downplay expectations, move the goalposts, and redefine what a success for The Mandalorian and Grogu and Disney Star Wars actually is.
But if you can take the best things about The Mandalorian show and just give me a good new adventure.
No, right now it's like, we shall premiere something. Yeah, that's fair. No, I just mean I'm launching a book, so I don't have a movie. So you can't do like a screening. I'm just saying at some point we'll have some kind of event around Galaxy Born, and the sailors, the Starnauts are coming. They're going to be invited. We'll make it happen. We'll make something happen. We shall premiere something. This is a bootstrap operation, okay? I'm running this whole setup off my MacBook Pro that can barely handle it, okay? This is not a... We've got... My point is, we've got some levels up to do. I haven't unlocked the premiere movie event perk yet. I haven't gotten that in my leveling up journey. I'm still at like the early stages of settlement building where I still haven't unlocked like the really cool nuclear generator and all that stuff. Promises made, says Fu Man Blue. Trust me, Fu Man. You can definitely... It's not even... The promise was made a long time ago. That's just the first time perhaps you've heard me verbalize it. But that's always been in my mind. It's like, these are the things I want to do when I get to this level. Like, I want to do like events, and I know exactly who's going to be top of the list to be invited to come. And it's going to be the people that were here in the early days. You know what I'm saying? Book launches, says Ridout, probably will be a big live stream. We can co-host on multiple channels. Yeah, we'll do all kinds of stuff. I actually wanted to bring a fellow writer a friend and fellow writer of mine on the stream today. The problem is I'm using OBS Studios, and I have no idea how I could accomplish that because StreamYards doesn't work on my laptop. So I'm like, I basically need a new setup for that to happen. Because the reason I'm using OBS Studio is because the audio is good on OBS on my poor, overworked MacBook. Fu Man says raise his hand. For what, Fu Man? You must be more specific. You must be more specific.
Adventure for Baby Yoda and Din to go on, and I walk out with a smile on my face. That's about as good as I could have hoped for.
I am really reminded of that line from The Incredibles.
They keep creating new ways to celebrate mediocrity.
And this isn't even celebrating mediocrity. This is celebrating shit.
No, it doesn't sound to me like anybody's saying, oh my God, this is movie of the year. Oh my God, Star Wars is back to its absolute glory. No, they're just basically saying, this is fun. This is a great galaxy-spanning adventure. It's a fun movie. I think the whole family's going to have a good time at it. If that's what it ends up being, I'll be happy.
You make me happy.
Now, I don't know about all of you, but me personally, I feel like the first Star Wars movie, well, fake Star Wars movie, back in theaters in 7 years needs to be epic,
well, fake
needs to be huge, needs to make
a
lot
Zeb!
of money.
I forgot about Zeb. I was trying to think of like, okay, all the lifeless performances in this movie. By the way, Filoni has 2 cameos in this movie. Zeb was the same deal, just lifeless. All right, well, I guess we got to pick up The Mandalorian. Oh, my God, what a great performance. Oh, Zeb, please clap.
Asking a lot of Disney Lucasfilm, Dave Filoni, and Jon Favreau due to their just incredible lack of talent that has been on display these past several...
Oh, my God, what a bunch of garbage. Just garbage for years. just years. Star Wars is a joke. It is an absolute joke. It's a lame boomer property now. It's a lame, tired, worn out, old thing. What a sad fate for such a storied franchise. It's really bad. Low expectations, Star Fury. There's no universe where this garbage is successful. I want to hear the creative accountancy that tries to say it made money. So, Star Fury. Well, ostensibly, it only had a $165 million budget. So, I mean, by Disney standards, that's practically an indie film. Like, that's practically a bootstrap budget. So that's probably its only shot at making money. So far, it's got a pretty lame opening number. It's not as bad as Solo. We'll see. I don't see this movie making a lot of money because I just don't see people coming out of the theater and telling people you got to go see this. I just don't see that happening with this. Even the people that liked it are going to be like, oh, it was cute. It was a cute movie. But they're not going to be like, you've got to go see it. I highly doubt that.
Several years.
I kind of think that the people that showed up for this movie on opening day and stuff, I think those are the people that were going to show up for this movie. I think that's it. That was them. The people that were excited for this, they were all there. That's kind of what I'm thinking. We'll see. We'll see how it does, But
the first film back after a 7-year hiatus needs to be more than just fun, and it makes me happy.
All these things I'm hearing from the reactions are about as good as I was hoping they would be.
The cope is strong in this one.
All right, everyone, that's all I got for today.
Hat tip, Mr. Grizzy. Wow, the shills are as pathetic as ever. Just so lame. Why did I do that to myself? Well, I honestly, I watched the movie. I'm sitting in the theater, and I'm just like, I really did not need to go to the theater for this, if you take my meaning. I was like, I should have... This is so stupid. There are moments where the film seems to want to be fun. You know what I'm saying? There are moments where the film seems to want to be a little bit entertaining. It just is too like depressed in its bathrobe to do that. Like it's this is as half-hearted a film as I've probably ever seen. The impression I got from this movie is that Disney is almost like, can we put out something that people won't hate? That's what I think this is. Can we put out a movie that just won't get hate? And if yes, cool. We can build on that. Like that is almost the feeling I get from this movie. It's like, just whatever you do, don't kick over the hornet's nest with this one, and we'll call it a win. Which, of course, I think is like the worst. That's the worst possible mentality. This is probably one of the strangest film releases I've seen in a long time. In just so many ways. It's like, of all the things, of all the ways you could have announced the Star Wars brand returning to theaters, if you ask me, this was a kind of giving up. See, I think that like 2, 3, 4 years ago, to release this as the next Star Wars movie would have been utterly unthinkable. I don't think it would have been a non-starter, because the expectation would have been that the next movie to hit theaters has to be something big, has to be something massive. I think we've reached a point where they're like, we just need to float something that will not draw more embarrassment. It's a very bizarre situation. It's a very strange return. Okay, let's move on to something else. The video game industry is also going through a sort of moribund period in which all of the major companies and brands are sort of killing themselves off with the same slop and wokeness. Interestingly enough, I think that the AAA gaming industry is more vulnerable to collapse than even the film industry. I think that the video game industry is more bound to profit than the film and TV industry. And so a lot of these studios that are so bloated, like Bungie, are having to let go their people. So there's an interesting video on this. I thought we would take a look at it. Let me pull it up here. Grabbing the link for us. Share screen, Mr. Producer. I love me some Asmongold. We probably aren't going to do the whole video, but let's just get a sample of this, shall we? Hat tip Asmongold reacting to... what channel is he reacting to? Let me just see. Aztec Cross. It got worse. Should I just react to this video or should I react to Asmon? I'm going to react to Asmon because he's funny. Where is the bet? Mozilla is just so badly organized.
Man. Minus 6-7.
Oh, wait, hang on. Because you know what this segment is? I completely forgot. This is a segment we have a name for.
What are you laughing at?
That's right. It's time for a little grave dancing, and off we go.
$165 million. That is insane. What a colossal crash out.
Redoubt Production says, not to shill for myself, but did you get a chance to see my USS Constitution video? Thoughts? I have not had a chance yet for Redoubt Productions, but by all means, shill away. I'll tell you what, maybe we'll take a peek at it before we duck out today.
By Bungie? Yeah, I think Bungie is... I think they have one more chance. I think that they're going to have I think they're going to have to do layoffs, and they're probably going to have one more chance to be able to make a good game. Did you read counterterrorism paper? I did. I completely agree with it, and I think that the government needs to be locking and packing these people up.
Disconcerting for what was Bungie's flagship franchise, and now a game that has no clear roadmap for the future. Fans are hoping.
I think they're going to make a Destiny 3. I think that's what has to happen, because there's no way they can't. I mean, like I would never play Destiny 2, but I would immediately play Destiny 3. I think a lot of people feel that way. There's too many expansions, too many things, too many updates, too many, there's too much going on. I'll be right back. All right, we're back. Sorry about that. We good?
I love his chat. His chat is the best part.
Destiny 3 may soon be announced, but there are no indications that is going to be the case. And that
when he leaves, they put little emojis in the chat of like all the Pepe frogs like dispersing. They're all. I love whenever there's anyone bald or they're making fun of Asma for being bald, they just put bald in the chat. It's so funny.
I would likely have to come with a near total shutdown.
Did you wash your hands?
For years to come.
They're in the chat. They're like, did you wash your hands?
I tell you this, guys.
And then they put a roach in the chat.
From what
that's what I need. I need emojis for the Captain's Cast, and I need to work on that. I need to. I'll take suggestions in the Discord. The link to our Discord is in the description, by the way. Make sure you check it out. You'll have a good time.
I looked at in the
Where is Michael Archangel? I'm surprised he's not here. He's always begging me to make content, and then he's not here. He's probably working. He probably has a job. Jobs aren't as important as YouTube, though.
Call. I'm not hopeful of a sequel for Destiny. Everything that was mentioned in the earnings call about whether
they have to do Destiny. There's no other alternative. Unless they come up with some brand new IP that we've never considered that's actually super amazing, which I feel like Sony
right,
would
let me
never
go to
greenlight
the
that,
let me go to the source because this one's too long.
Oh, can I just say this image right here? This is our final shape. Myself, Frost, and ZK working at Mickey D's. This is truly the final shape, and we are getting closer and closer to it. Most notably with the news here recently about Bungie. And let me just say, guys, it ain't good. I've been seeing a lot of things online, seen people try to pull some copium bullshit out of their ass saying, oh, no. This is actually a good thing. Or my favorite, this is all part of the process. This was the plan of Sony's all along. Delusional. But not as delusional as the Marathon community. Oh yeah, you fuckers. Believe me, Destiny players, we have been submerged in the copium. But you guys are running in head first. Stick into it, my man. But let's get into the news.
Marathon is such trash. I just need one look at that. It's garbage. It's visual slop.
Hold on. Let me pull this up. So I'm on vacation this week, and this is what I woke up to. PlayStation's reported a $765 million impairment loss due to underperformance by Bungie. Now, if you remember what I said leading up to this earnings call, I told you guys that we were in speculation territory. You know what I'm saying? Yes, there was an impairment at the end of last year, if y'all remember that. No, it did not go against goodwill, but still not a good.
All good suggestions, Star Fury. Interstellar emoji and a Godzilla emoji. Interstellar emoji. I got to think about that. It should be like Cooper in the docking sequence or something. I'll figure the Godzilla for sure.
Sign. And I told you guys strike 2 would be another impairment.
We probably need a bib emoji. I'll think about it.
Strike 2 and 3 would have been an impairment and also against goodwill. Now, as far as I'm understanding, it didn't go against goodwill, but it still is an impairment nonetheless. And there seems to be some copium about this where the same folks that came out and say, don't worry, this is just an accounting thing. They're also the same people that come out and say, don't worry about it. When you buy something that's for your business, it's a business expense. As if that makes it free. That's not how that works, guys. When you say something, oh, I'm gonna write it off, it doesn't make that item or whatever, that expense, free, okay? So
this guy has the strangest amalgam of accents I've ever heard. He sounds like he has a Southern American accent merged with maybe possibly a Latin accent and like a Midwest accent, like all smashed together. I could never place it. It's very strange.
Here.
I'm not saying I dislike it.
All that really boils down to is, well, Bungie's assessed value is obviously not as much as Sony originally thought. I mean, I don't know, dude. I mean, we could have all kind of assumed that. Let's just say this, though. It's Pete Parsons, by the way. He's on some tropical island somewhere, sitting in one of his 35 exotic cars. And can we just say, I don't like what he did to Destiny or Bungie, but, man, my man straight up available further improvements in the gameplay experience and expansion of the user base. Yeah, I mean, look, I think the main thing is like the people that are still playing Marathon, they're playing a lot of it, you know. Personally, I think
Okay, so that gives us a flavor of it. Bungie is losing money for PlayStation, okay? Now, I tell you that. This brings me to our next point. This is really the one I bookmarked. This is a better video for this. I bookmarked this place. I was watching this Asmongold video earlier today, and when it got to this part, I was like, okay, this one I'm bringing to the stream because this is the real grave dancing right here. Okay, so here we go. Hat tip Asmongold. Give or take a minute or two. This is the good part.
He's going to make them make Destiny 3. And like maybe this is going to be like a repeat of what happened with Microsoft, like forcing 3/4. Even Ubisoft has had a massive loss. Let me see if I can show this. Ubisoft. Let me pull it up because it's very recent. Yeah, this is yesterday. Ubisoft stock is crashing after the company announced massive financial losses worth billions. So every single one of these companies, I want to let you guys know that we are killing them.
Yes,
That's it. Them. This is
we're killing them. Oh, take it in, my dear chat. My dear sailors and star nuts, this is what I meant to bring you. This is what I was getting at here. We have inflicted defeat after defeat after defeat on corporate slop, woke storytelling, garbage, just garbage tier content. We have inflicted massive defeats on these companies by voting with our wallets, and that is exactly what he's getting at. Because at the end of the day,
we're fighting for our right to live, to exist. And should we win the day, the 4th of July will no longer be known as an American holiday, but as the day when the world declared in one voice, we will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. We're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day.
President Whitmer, man, he's so great. You know, I didn't even know that character's name for like 10 years, maybe 15 years after I saw the movie. He's just the president in that movie. He has no identity. He has really no agency the whole movie. Pointless Hub pointed this out. He has basically no agency in the movie until that speech. That's the one moment in the movie where he suddenly becomes like an active character in the story. The rest of the movie before that, he's just reacting to things. He's just the powerless president reacting to things. I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing either, because that's kind of the point. Is like the most powerful man in the world has no ability to respond to these aliens. He has no ability to oppose them. None of the weapons, none of the tools, none of the armies or navies or air forces at his disposal can do anything to threaten them or even defend against them. I think that's kind of the point, and it works well in that movie. It nevertheless, as a leader, as a character who is a leader in the film, he doesn't really have any agency until that moment. But boy, when he gives that speech, it's like it makes the whole movie. It really does.
It's beautiful.
But anyway, that clip is to say, we have declared our defiance of the enemy. And the enemy are the people that make these games. I don't know if he says it at after this point, but there was a chatter who was saying to Asmongold, like, why do you care about games you're not going to play and have no interest in? And he said, because I care about these parasites destroying video games and I want them to fail. And if their games fail, that's a win for me. And that is a perfect answer. Why do I care about The Mandalorian and Grogu if I don't like it and I don't want to watch it? Well, because I have a vested interest in seeing Star Wars, which was a meaningful mythos in our modern entertainment culture. I have a vested interest in seeing its legacy preserved. If that legacy is preserved and flourishes, in my view, that's a win for me. If it is destroyed by stupid people who eat glue, that's a loss for me, for our culture, and for civilization writ large. So therefore, I want Dave Filleting Filoni to fail. I want Jon Favreau to fail. I want Leslie Headland and Kathleen Kennedy and Bob Iger to fail. I want them to fail. Doesn't mean they will, but if they do, I'll be happy about it. I'll enjoy it. If they're humiliated and embarrassed because of the disgusting slop they produced being destroyed and trolled and humiliated online. I call that a win. I call that a win for me. I call that a win for you. I call that a win for good taste. I call that a win for America. And I approve. So make no mistake, whether or not I intend to watch a piece of slop content is irrelevant. I want it to fail. Do you know why all this shit gets made, even though the clearly it's counterproductive to make this crap? It's counterproductive. They lose money hand over fist year after year after year, and they keep making this garbage. Do you know how that's possible? Because I used to ask this question on this very stream. How is this possible? I have an answer. I'm prepared to answer. It's possible because this is what power looks like. There's a great scene in Game of Thrones. Let me find this. I've always loved this scene. It's one of the most brilliant moments in that series, which is a quite uneven series. Let me grab this real quick. It's probably easy to find. God damn it. This poor computer can't handle all these tabs. There it is. You know the thing. This is the scene.
The Mockingbird. You created your own sigil, didn't you?
Yes.
Appropriate. About a boy of modest means.
When boys and girls live in the same home, awkward situations can arise. Sometimes I've heard even brothers and sisters develop certain...
Right, so he's this is Littlefinger threatening her with his secret knowledge of her relationship with her brother, and he says knowledge is power, and then she orders her guards to kill him on the spot, and they're about to do it.
Stop. Wait. I've changed my mind. Let him go.
And then she concludes by saying, I probably shouldn't play this because I'll get a copyright. She says, power is power. Power is power. So my point is, why are these things getting made in spite of their financial failure? Because power is power, and the people, the wackos that have captured our culture and our the pillars of our civilization, which includes entertainment, they have the power. They get to make what they want to make. And this also explains Christopher Nolan in the Odyssey. Christopher Nolan is the one who has the power to make this great, highly funded film. He has all the power and all the tools to make whatever version of the Odyssey he wants, and he is making the version of the Odyssey that he wants to feed us. And why do I frame it this way? Because what I'm saying is our task is to take this power away from them. That's what we have to do. How do we do that? Well, that's a complicated answer, and we're working on it, aren't we? They have the power, and we must take it away from them. And one of the tools we have is our wallets. We stop buying these products. We stop. Now, by the way, if you want to go spend money on these things, by all means. This is not me. This is not a purity test. This is not me saying you must do this, you must not do that. I don't want to get in that cycle. I don't want to get in that trap. Spend your money on what you want to spend it on. I'm saying one of the levers we have that we can move, if we so choose, is to vote with our wallets on all these things. And that is what we are doing. Now, they are still in the positions of power. Like the chick who made Mixtape, for example, is a woke wacko with unlimited funds. It doesn't matter if that game fails or not financially. That's not why she's making it. She's making it for propaganda purposes, and she can make it. But by inflicting these defeats and these humiliations on these companies with all these flopped films and flopped video games, it is eroding the base of their power. It is creating an opening for new creatives to take over, and that's what we must do. And then one day, maybe not this generation, maybe not the next, but one day it'll be us calling the shots. Someday.
So proud of you guys. Like, this is a level of winning that I didn't even know was possible. It's deserved. I think it's deserved too, if you want me to be honest. I do. I think it's very deserved. So it's beautiful. Yes, we are actually knocking these fuckers over one after another.
Exactly.
We didn't need to kill them. And to be fair, also, they're killing themselves. Like, if they were making good video games, we couldn't do anything about it. Fundamentally, all of the identity stuff and everything else, all of this is secondary to good video games. They're not making good video games. And that's the real reason why they're failing more than anything else.
Star Fury says, and Welling said, our army is composed. That would be, are you saying, is the Duke of Wellington? Is that who you're quoting, Star Fury? Correct me if I'm wrong. But anyway, Wellington. Okay, yeah. Okay, you're quoting the Duke of Wellington who defeated Napoleon? That is so rad. That is so awesome. Everyone knows I'm a great admirer of British culture because, well, at least as it once existed. But British culture, the antecedent to American culture, says, Wellington said, our army is composed of the scum of the earth. The mere scum of the earth. I am so glad to be one of those scum. Yes, exactly. That is our army. We are the scum of the earth, and we're coming for you. AAA Gaming, Disney slop. See, Disney has the advantages, and AAA Gaming, and you name it. The advantages they have are institutional power, institutional capture, vast resources, limitless fortunes to just set money on fire again and again and again. Media, marketing machines, all the mainstream media shills, all of their outlet channels to push puff pieces, and their connections in the government, dwindling now, but once very powerful, to silence and suppress and censor criticism, all of those tools. Do you know what our advantage is? Aside from our wallets, our advantage is you cannot duplicate a hit. You cannot clone lightning in a bottle. Originality and creativity and authenticity will always be a weapon that the lowliest among us can possess. And that is one advantage we have. And so we, the army of scum, we will use the advantages we have to whittle them down. We will wear them down. We will inflict defeat after defeat after defeat until our victory is permanent, until it is total, until it is we calling the shots once more.
AAA is still making good video games. Capcom, From Software, Nintendo. Like, outside of Pokemon, I guess Game Freak makes Pokemon, so that's it. At least they own the chuds, though.
I love how my stream has devolved into the Captain's Delusions. Megalomania.
Yeah, I mean, let me see if I can find this. Did they own the chuds?
Did they own the chuds?
Hassan, so Sellout would be more accurate. Objectively, he is promoting a terrible game just for the money. And Assassin's Creed responds to Elon Musk. Is that what the guy playing your PoE 2 account told you? Well, in a tale as old as time, it appears that once more, Twitter likes don't pay the bills. That's just too bad. Do you remember all of the dick eaters and the retards and the dumbasses and the delusional, did I say retards? The retards that said that, like Assassin's Creed was doing well, etc. I did? Okay, well, they're really big retards. The Delulus, yeah, I like that. Well, let's look at how Ubisoft is doing now. Oh my god. Well, it went all the way down and all the way back up again. There it is. Oh my god, it rose back up when we see EU. And so this is the European stock, right? You can see that. And the European stock actually has gone, wait a minute. Oh, it's gone. So it went down massively and now it's gone back up. So it seems like this caused a temporary panic and people aren't really, Black Flag made it go up. Yeah, I think that's probably what happened is that they announced some new stuff for that game in order to get them up. But man, it had so many players. What happened? Yeah, I know, guys. It's such a mystery. And so anyway, gamers voted and Ubisoft died. $1.3 billion in losses. Historic low, will not return to profitability until at least 2027 or 2028. Ubisoft will continue focusing on live service games. They told us Ubi was winning, that the chuds had no effect, that Assassin's Creed Shadows was doing well. Ladies and gentlemen, take your victory lap. No studio was more DEI infested than Ubisoft. You voted with your wallets and took down...
Why, Gentle Stormcrow has entered the chat. Why, hello, Stormcrow. Says, good to see you again, sir. Hope your book is coming along great. Why, thank you, Stormcrow. I'd say I'm about 50% finished with the first draft. I'm about halfway. So that's, I would say if I were to put it on a timeline, my hope is to have the draft completed by sometime mid to late June. And then I should be able to have a final draft for beta readers by roughly July. And so what that means is we're going to be building up to the Kickstarter campaign. I reserve the right to use a different platform than Kickstarter, so we'll see. But tentatively, the pre-order, pre-launch campaign will be in effect probably in July. So that's when we're going to be ramping up. And then my hope is to have the campaign for Galaxyborn launched and completed before the holiday season this year. Now, an important thing to note, because Galaxyborn Volume 1 is, as the title implies, just Volume 1. It's going to be multiple volumes. My goal is to have a volume releasing every quarter. Okay? Every quarter. Now, a lot of the build-up work to have that kind of cadence of production is what I'm doing now. So while I'm running the Kickstarter campaign, I'm going to be working on the Volume 2 draft and the Volume 3 draft and so on ad infinitum. So my hope is to get this thing spinning so that the volumes are dropping quickly. So you're always going to have another Galaxyborn to read, which they're not. They're my goal is to have them be short, quick reads, like not like super short, but like something you can read fairly quickly. We're not going to do like a big fat, huge novel. It's meant to be episodes, right? So kind of like reading a manga. That's kind of how I'm picturing it as far as like the pacing. It's like you're reading another volume of the manga every couple of months. That's kind of what I'm shooting for. But the first campaign obviously is the hardest. So please forgive my absence, says Stormcrow. My life is squeezing me for all I'm worth. Now, gentle Stormcrow, there's nothing to forgive, good sir. It's good to see you. It's good to see all of you. Thank you for being here. I started the stream. The chat was empty, and I thought, this is the one. This is finally the one. I'm going to be speaking into the void the whole episode. Nobody's going to show up. It's just going to be me, and I'm going to do it anyway because I'm a professional. And yet here you are. So thank you so much. It means the world to me. So don't you worry at all. You just hang in there, Stormcrow. You just keep moving forward, okay? The captain is here. Feel free to join us in the Discord. I think you have a different handle in the Discord. That's fine. And we're just going to keep plugging away, okay? That's all I do every day. I just get up in the morning and I say, Garrett, don't fuck up today. And I do my best. Don't fuck up, Captain. And we're making progress, okay? We're all in it together on this big blue marble. Roll tape, Asmund.
One of the biggest AAA companies in the world. This is a total chud blowout.
Total chud blowout.
Oh. It is. Like, this is a massive... You said a Vietnam flashback? What's this? Asmongold getting angry at this. So retard. Man. Assassin's Creed Shadows just officially surpassed 2 million players in 2 days. So much for the go woke, go broke. An Assassin's Creed game scoring an 80+ and set in Japan was always going to be a massive success, no matter the outrage campaign, and was not going to put a dent in it at all. Man.
So Asmongold is pulling up this X account, Synth Potato, that hates Asmongold, thinks we're all chuds, and was saying, go woke, go broke. Oh, that's all bullshit. Assassin's Creed Shadows, this is, years ago, has passed 2 million players in just 2 days. And Asmongold is quote tweeting this and saying retard because now Assassin's Creed Shadows is a giant fail.
That's just too bad. The chuds win again. It's sad. And go woke, go broke? I guess so. Well, there's a lot of examples of that.
Leftists, SJWs, identity politics types, wackos, shills, they like to be lied to. This is an important thing to understand about their psychology. They want to be lied to. It's not hyperbole. Because notice how the minute they hear a media lie that they like, they just start repeating it. And it's like they can't see that when this lie is inevitably proven false, you're going to look like a fool. You're going to look stupid. But they can't seem to help themselves. Why? Well, because they live in a world that only exists with lies. Censorship of the truth is the only way that people like this can function. This is why the more the truth gets out, the more insane they are, the more violent they are, the more crazed they are, the more unhinged they are. They can't take it because they live in a world built on lies. The entire premise behind pronouns is about reinforcing lies, such as the lie that there is more than 2 genders, or that genders can be they can be changed, or they can be fluid, or whatever. It's like as if it's not encoded in our DNA. They're liars. They exist in a world of lies, and they enjoy it. That's what they want. They want to live in a lie. They quite literally can't handle the truth. Now, this does not mean... Now, see, this is what separates us from the shill. You and I, we may wish something were true. For example, I may wish that the Odyssey would be a total failure and a flop based on what I've seen. I do. I wish that it would fail. I hope that it fails. I hope it's a complete disaster. But the difference between me and the shill is that if I heard my favorite media personality or podcast bro tell me that the Odyssey was going to fail, I would be excited and eager to believe it and repeat it and post all about it on X and make predictions that the Odyssey's going to fail because I enjoy the lie. The lie tells me something comforting that I want to hear, and that's enough for me. But you see, I'm not like that. I know for a fact that the Nolan brand is very powerful and that by no means is the Odyssey going to necessarily flop. It may, in fact, make $1 billion in spite of all of the garbage that we've seen. Because even though the truth may be uncomfortable and even though it may be unpleasant, we here value the truth, and we understand that you cannot build a civilization on lies. You cannot build anything enduring or lasting or mythic on lies. Because the truth will lie in wait for all time. And it is remarkable how the shill never learns this lesson, ever. They never come to realize what a bad strategy it is to go through life believing in, being fueled by, and propagating and perpetuating lies.
White House is going live about alien disclosure stuff. I find that to be unlikely. I do. I find it to be very unlikely. This is probably not about aliens. I mean, I'll have it open. I mean, like, if there's something interesting that happens, I'll pull it up and watch it. But
All right,
not
I think
really
we might be off
expecting a whole
target here.
lot.
Off topic.
And so they prioritize failing woke empire? I guess so. 007 next week could be another fail. I think it will be. I think it's going to be another flopperooski. But we'll see what happens. Everyone that got played it as AC4 said it was good. AC4, I mean, what do you mean AC4? Like, I'm confused by this. No, they're making Black Flag, unless that's what you're talking about. I have no idea. And so propagating a stupid ideology is more important than money. Oh, that's okay. It's his Black Flag. I don't know like what the ordering of that was. So anyway, yeah. Let me go and look at this again. But yeah, you've got Destiny is dead. Bungie is failing. Marathon is dragging it to the bottom of the ocean. Ubisoft announces literally billions of dollars of losses. I mean, does it even get better than this? I mean, this is amazing. What a great day. Historic low. Ubisoft stock is crashing. It seems like it's come back since then. Ubisoft is ending development at Red Storm Entertainment, results in the loss of 105 jobs. Wow. AMD is up, brother? Of course it is, because NVIDIA is no longer categorizing gaming chips as a part of their business that they're like actively categorizing. So obviously AMD would take over because NVIDIA is moving out of that market and defining themselves in that market. I think that's clearly why, right? That's what I would guess. But who knows? It's great to see it happen. It's sad that it had to happen. It sure is. How do these giant gaming companies get the culture of gaming so wrong? Well, they hired women. Shouldn't have done it.
Shouldn't have done it.
I mean, really, it's just that simple. You shouldn't, like, I could have told you it was a mistake, right? Everybody could have told you it was a mistake. But whenever you have, here's the thing, is that...
All right, Hat Tip Asmongold, another great video. That's grave dancing for today. A little bit of grave dancing. You gotta love it. You gotta respect it. Learn it, love it, live it. The defeats will continue until morale improves. Now, I would say we have another very important topic to cover just briefly, and that would be the Boyz. What a complete disaster. We had the finale, Homelander is dead, and literally nothing else was accomplished. So I thought we would take a look at Nerdrotic's review of the final episode. The only thing I did, I tuned in just to see Homelander die, and it's because after years of this show, I just needed to see that moment. And I got to tell you something, it didn't help. It didn't help at all. I was like, wow, this was completely hollow and pointless and not at all interesting. So let's just check in, do a reaction to this, and then maybe we'll go ahead and check out Redoubt's video after this.
Well, what if we share a different destiny? Something a little more scorched earth. Shock and awe. Blood and bone.
Oh, second, please. I'll do anything. You want me to eat shit? I'll eat your shit.
So there's all these memes finding every moment of a villain's defeat in a movie, Thanos, Anakin Skywalker, Agent Smith, and it's just repeating this line on X. It's actually pretty amazing. I don't know why this series of memes like Sauron, the Green Goblin, like every single movie character saying, please, I'll do anything. You know, it's like, I don't know why this so brilliantly illustrates how bad that is. You know, it's like, imagine any villain ever having this scene. It's like antithetical to everything that makes a good antagonist in any story.
Nerdrotic
StarTrek.com.
Greetings, you over 1 million practitioners of common sense and the 40%.
I think, you know, what that meme is identifying there is that it's sort of contrary to human nature to admit defeat. You know what I'm saying? Like, even a coward has a difficult time admitting they've lost. And I think that why that scene of Homelander begging, you know, that way is so false, it fails the authenticity test, is because a character with that much ego wouldn't even be able to accept defeat. Think of it this way. Could you ever envision Hassan Piker having a moment like this? Could you ever envision Matt Walsh having a moment like this? If he were somehow ideologically defeated, like imagine they lost a debate. Could you imagine Ben Shapiro having a moment like this? Could you imagine Cenk Uygur having a moment like this? Could you imagine Kamala Harris having a moment like this? Could you imagine George W. Bush having a moment like this? Think about this. Can you imagine any major, like, ideological person that you can think of who has lost, seriously lost? Could you imagine Thomas Massey having a moment like this? Thomas Massey just got completely defeated in a primary election, and he gave a concession speech that basically was like completely defiant. My point is, I cannot actually envision a human being having this reaction to total defeat. And I think that's why the meme is so funny, because it correctly identifies that the very hubris that creates an antagonist is also the same hubris that makes them impossible to admit they were wrong. There's a great monologue in Star Trek Deep Space Nine in which Weyoun, the leader of the Dominion, and Gul Dukat, the leader of the Cardassians, who are attempting to conquer the Federation and humanity, are having a conversation about what to do about Earth once they've conquered the Federation. Weyoun says that Earth should be exterminated, its entire population annihilated, because if there is to be an uprising and a rebellion against Dominion rule, it will originate there on Earth. Dukat says, you can't do that. And Weyoun says, why? Why can't we do that? He's like, well, no, because first you have to subjugate your enemy. You have to torment them. You have to torture them and humiliate them until they admit that they were wrong to oppose you in the first place. And then, if necessary, then you annihilate them. Now, what's so interesting about that conversation is that I always sort of felt that was Dukat's delusion. Right? His delusion that he could get his enemy, because most of the series, he's trying to get Benjamin Sisko, Captain Sisko, to admit that he secretly admires Dukat, or he's trying to get Sisko to admit he's been defeated. But it's not possible. He's trying to get the Bajorans to admit that he wasn't this psychopathic monster they say he is. And it's almost as if he's obsessed in the entire series with getting a human being to admit what they will never, ever, ever admit. Because it's contrary to human nature. You simply, to admit that you were wrong ever, it's rare. So anyway, it's a left-wing fantasy that the stand-in for Donald Trump, the Orange Man, the God Emperor of Man, long may he reign, it is a delusion on the part of Eric Kripke that you could ever have your enemy, your opponent, on his knees begging in this fashion. And it's fascinating to me how a meme is able to reveal that.
Haven't subscribed yet. The Boyz series on Amazon has finally come to an end, or as some might say, it's been put out of its misery.
This. Fuck off.
Just a
Super Samarian, welcome to the chat. The captain salutes you. Says, I think probably it ain't funny. I'll do whatever you want. Yeah. And as much said about that, the less said about that, the better.
Over a month ago, The Boyz creator Eric Kripke told The Hollywood Reporter that he was anxious about the fan reaction to the final episode, and now we all know why. That anxiety was justified.
A lot of shows outsmart themselves, and they say, the audience really wants this, so we're not going to give it to them. And, and then everyone ends up super disappointed.
What a self-report that was. That's how all of you assholes think. That's how all of you Hollywood assholes think all the time. It's like the audience wants this, so we're not going to give it to them because you're not creative enough to understand how to give the audience what they want while also telling an interesting and meaningful and surprising story, which there's examples of well-done versions of this everywhere. A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms is a great example. It tells a classic heroic fable, but it is still surprising and interesting and full of high stakes. So it can be done. It's just most of you assholes don't think that way and are not capable of delivering it.
And I live in terror of that.
Oh, bullocks.
Eric Kripke on how he's girding his loins for the season 5 finale. Well, I hope he was wearing a cup. Oh, and we will certainly get to the dizzying parallels between our current political reality and all the stuff they conveniently left out. The Hollywood Reporter asks him in this April 7th article, what most excites you about the final season of The Boyz? Excites is the wrong word. What makes me most anxious about the final season is really hoping we land the plane. It's super hard to do a finale. Fans will retroactively judge the show based on how they feel about the finale. If we stiff it, they will definitely say, well, that show wasn't as good as we thought it was. Prophetic words, because lo and behold, that's exactly what's happening right now. The comparisons are already out there with the Game of Thrones finale, the Stranger Things finale, and now the Boyz finale. Thing is, 2 of those finales came this year, but at least Game of Thrones was good for a few seasons and Stranger Things was good for a couple of seasons. Some may or may not agree with that, and that's fair, but let's be real, The Boyz hasn't been good since season 1. Now, the point I was out came in...
It honestly hasn't been good since the first couple episodes of season 1. Look at what they took from us. I feel like that's a good place to pause. You know what I'm saying?
Season 2 when they did the girls get it done thing and then went on to do the thing they just mocked when the girls got it done by beating the crap out of the gender swap from the comic Stormfront because women can be Nazis too.
So revolutionary, it's so bold and so brilliant.
But that was only the beginning with this show that is a satirical parody that became a parody of itself, including but not limited to, in no particular order, spinning off the Boyz universe into the VCU, the VOT cinematic universe. Never mind that it's not cinematic, and of course people are going to say, don't you get it? They're leading into the joke. Yeah, by becoming the joke. Starting with Gen V, which was supposed to be the heir apparent. Unfortunately, nobody watched and it was canceled. Then there's the VOT Rising prequel featuring Soldier Boy, which much of season 5 of The Boyz.
You know, as much as I love Jensen Ackles and the Soldier Boy character, I really do. I think he's probably the best character in the entire Boyz show, hands down. I have zero interest in this prequel. Like, I will never watch this unless I think I can get content out of it, so I might watch it. But I'm just saying, other than the fact that I might watch it, I will never watch it, ever. I have, like, zero interest in it.
Was sacrificed to set up, and the Boyz Mexico.
Wait, what?
The only problem with this expansion is the Boyz TV series was, and always will be about Homelander, who's dead now, along with the show and, yes, the VOT cinematic universe. Because showrunner Eric Kripke thought it was a much better idea to forego and sacrifice any of the twists and turns and complexity from Garth Ennis's comics to give us 5 seasons of Homelander as Trump, get it?
When we first pitched the show, it was before Trump was elected. And the idea that a celebrity would actively want to turn themselves into a fascist autocrat was kind of a crazy idea.
Oh my God, leftists are so insufferable. Well, you see, before the idea that a president would want to be a fascist autocrat, they're just so gross.
Yeah, I mean, it still is, but it turned out to have happened. But
it turned out to have happened? It turned out to have happened. Well, he's a fascist autocrat. Dude, my impressions of these people is deadly accurate, is it not? Like, this is exactly how they talk. They're such fucking losers.
Whose metaphor is really about the moment we're living in, which is the cross-section of celebrity and authoritarianism. And so, like, once we realize that, we're like, well, we have to go all the way. And so every season we've just pushed it.
I'm the Homelander, and I can do whatever the I want.
And unsurprisingly, for the 5th season in a row, the boys are spending their time trying to figure out a way to kill Homelander, who, after the events of season 4, not only has aspirations to run the country, now he wants to be a god.
I'm the Messiah. I'm the savior of the world.
A season many of the fans who hung on were calling filler, which is an accurate description. A redundant multiple MacGuffin chase enclosed in a mystery box. And we all know what's inside of that.
Let's see what's in the box! Nothing!
So after spending a season finding out whether or not the MacGuffin superhero virus actually works on just superheroes, all while trying to prevent Homelander getting the other MacGuffin, V1, which will make him immortal, leaning into the trademark ripping people in half constantly or excessive talks about buttholes, including bringing back Paul Reiser's The Legend to talk about eating buttholes.
So, Geisha told me to eat her golden ass.
I dined at that establishment back in '78, and the service was great.
Bruh. Or superheroes sniffing buttholes. And an entire season of the audience just trying to figure out what Starlight is saying that has nothing to do with all the plastic surgery the actress said she didn't have.
Why haven't you tried to string them before?
You can't tell what she's saying.
And ladies, please don't do that to yourselves. We get to a season finale which can be best described as a fart in the wind. And sticking with the theme of anuses, we open up the finale with Frenchie's funeral, where they're reading his last will and testament where he talks about buttholes.
I do have something to give you. The knowledge that I've seen each and every one of your assholes.
Excuse me?
In this episode called Blood and Bone, which is a callback to a conversation Butcher and Homelander had earlier in the series, where I'm sure many were wondering who lives and who dies as the chess pieces come together in this big fantastic ending. And since we're so far off the comics anyway, we might actually see some scorched earth. Well, sorry, spoilers. Instead of scorched earth, think stained carpet, and most everybody survives. Now, A-Train was killed earlier on in the season, and the aforementioned Frenchie was killed in the penultimate episode, but of the prominent characters, everyone's still around, and guess what they need to do? Find a way to kill Homelander, who, thanks to Soldier Boy handing him the V1, is now immortal. Essentially, the plot is the remaining boys have to infiltrate the White House, and they get some help from a conscience-stricken Ashley Barrett in the last minute so they can prevent Homelander from giving his speech announcing his divinity.
You deserve a god who doesn't die. A god who fights back. A god you can believe in.
One of the biggest of many flaws of this show is Homelander's godhood and actually convincing people to believe it. It may or may not have helped to make him immortal in the first episode instead of him running around with Soldier Boy so you could do a soft pilot for another series, instead of him being immortal for just 2 episodes. And that probably would have helped showrunner Eric Kripke, big Trump fan by the way, avoid the mountain of criticism he is deservedly getting for it feeling contrived and rushed, because that's exactly what it is. And that's why I believe him when he says it's almost like you're trying to secure your legacy with these finales. Well, the show's legacy, and unfortunately it will affect your legacy too, because you don't get to choose that, life will choose it for you. And it's the first finale I've ever done too, so it's not like I have any experience with it. And it shows, because again, this finale is essentially the boys trying to stop a speech where Homelander is trying to convince a public who doesn't believe him that he is a god. Now, he does eventually go off script and says he's going to crush all you puny humans. And it's at that point where Butcher, Kamiko, and Deus Ex Ryan come in and have a big battle in the Oval Office live on television. We're in front of God and everybody. Homelander is depowered by Kamiko, humiliated, offers to suck Butcher's D, and brutally murdered. Oh, and we'll get back to that in just a minute. But just like the rest of season 5, and let's just call it this entire series, it was just a waste of your valuable time. And as far as the character resolution is concerned, if that's what you want to call it, it's abysmal. We'll start with Sister Sage, the smartest woman in the world.
Oh, jeez.
Who helped replicate the Soldier Boy radiation experiments on Kamiko so she can have new powers to take other people's powers. Wonder where they're going with that one. Well, the first test is taking Sister Sage's powers, which works, and Sister Sage, who was the dumbest, smartest person alive I've ever seen in any TV show or film, just becomes the dumbest person alive.
I'm stupid like you guys.
Obviously.
And despite all of the people she murdered or put in prison camps, she's allowed to walk free because she's a diverse woman in a Hollywood production and we can't have them taking accountability for anything.
They'll never know.
Holy cow. Man, so yeah, that's The Boys. I think we'll leave it there. My dear chat. So there we go. There we have it. Mr. Producer, if you would. I think the most notable thing about that is Eric Kripke. It's interesting how they pretend they don't care what we think. Oh, we don't care. Oh, we didn't make this for the chuds. And yet we live rent-free in their heads, don't we? Because they live in absolute terror of their ideas and their shows and their characters being rejected while pretending that they don't. You see, I understand them. Because like them, I am an artist. And so I know exactly the very vulnerabilities that they pretend they don't have. Oh, they have them. So we need one to close it out. And do you know what we're going to close it out with, my dear chat? We are going to look for a video.
Holy shit.
Oh,
Like, I
hold
think
on.
that there.
Pause that. We're going to look for a video from Redoubt Productions. That's right. Our signal officer on the ship. Let me see if I can find it. There it is, Redoubt Productions, and he has a video on Old Ironsides. We're not going to do the whole video, but let's just get a sample, shall we? Okay, Mr. Producer, share screen. And of course, this is my favorite ship of all time. Old Ironsides, way better than HMS Victory. Don't even bother with HMS Victory. It's all about the Constitution, baby.
President and this restructured federal government set about trying to build
Hat
up
tip,
a flexible
Redoubt
defense for
Productions.
its territories and aspirations.
Okay, hang on. I want to get to this. I want to go to, let's see, building Old Ironsides, the ship's hold. Ooh, that looks pretty good. The Orlop deck, the berth deck. Oh boy. Controversy over the the captain's cabin. Okay, let's go to the captain's cabin. Hell yeah.
Toward the stern of the gun deck is also the captain's cabin.
Yes.
You initially walk into a drawing room environment where the commanding officer could meet with whomever he summons for inquiry. Yes, there are long guns here because where the crew would go into battle stations, the partitions created in the captain's cabin would be dismantled.
Yes.
And they would incorporate this whole region into the main gun deck during battle.
Oh my God, it's so beautiful, isn't it? Hey, I have a question for you, Redoubt. How tall is the deck above? Like, can you stand at your full height? Like, can an average person stand at full height on this deck? Because I've never been on it. I'm just curious. Because there's like this kind of myth that people were shorter back then, and so the decks are shorter. I'm just curious what the height of the deck is. What's the clearance? Is it 8 feet? 7 feet, 6 feet.
In the sternmost part of the captain's cabin would have been his actual sleeping arrangement. The quarter galleys were divided off from the main cabin in the 1840s, providing private quarters for dignitaries that came aboard around this time. We are finally topside on the spar deck, which is where you will see the 32-pound carronades. Now, if you have seen...
Man, 32-pounder carronades, which are, think of it as like a giant shotgun firing a big-ass slug. Oh, my God. The damage those things could do. I will say, as much as I love the era of fighting sail, like, being on one of those ships taking fire, that is like one of the most terrifying thoughts I can imagine.
Our videos relating to the Battle of Lake Erie, then you know all about the importance of these type of weapons in the War of 1812. But a quick refresher, carronades developed in the late 18th century as a means of arming warships that could throw heavier projectiles but with the fraction of the weight of a normal long gun, as well as needing less gunpowder in their charges. They typically weighed just under 2,000 pounds each, but were only effective at 300 yards or closer. But once in range, they were murderous. And we cannot forget that high above the spar deck is, of course, the fighting tops located along the free mast. And the free mast would have been where the Constitution received its propulsion, the power of the wind harnessed by an assortment of sails. Now, I'm going to be upfront and admit when it comes to the science of sailing ships, I'm a dunce. The necessity to comprehend how the rope and sails interact with each other, plus working...
Well, technically, if the rope is in use on the ship, it's called a line. Rope is raw material in naval terms. So rope is just raw material that's not being used for anything. But if it's actually in the rigging, it's not a rope, it's a line, because it's actually doing work. But that's just me being pedantic and showing off a little. Redoubt is my favorite historian, says Fu Man Blue. Here, Mr. Master at Arms. And Fu Man Blue noting that you can follow Captain Garrett's starfaring novel series Galaxyborn coming soon at www.galaxyborn.com. That's www.galaxyborn.com. Go now. Yes.
High in the air to unfurl and secure both as needed with just good balance preventing an accident, it all just leaves me in awe of the men that did it. There is one more thing I need to discuss.
Okay, let's go to Isaac Hull, an American hero. Because, so the film... Oh, yes, this is about the battle with the Guerriere. Oh, that's such a rad... That is such a rad history. Like, look up the battle... This is what made me a giant fan of the USS Constitution. The story of the Constitution versus the Guerriere.
War. With its mast and rigging banged up from the battle, and in need of offloading the prisoners taken, Hull made a return for Boston. Upon the Constitution's arrival, Hull was not court-martialed, but rather he and his crew were swept up in a series of celebrations. The news of his victory was spread across the United States, which softened the blow of more news coming in, which was the surrender of Fort Detroit out in the Northwest Territory. By the way, Isaac Hull's uncle was the American commander of that post, William Hull. I find it very interesting that the same family name is simultaneously associated with one of the United States' first major victories, as well as one of its first major defeats in the War of 1812. But the people of Boston didn't really worry too much about this far-off place called Detroit. They were much more interested in dining, singing, and gift-giving to Hull and the rest of his crew. Hull himself would soon be relieved of command and be able to attend to matters ashore, serve the remainder of the war as a naval yard superintendent.
You check out Redoubt Productions. Look at all the work that he puts into these. Like, he goes on site too. He goes on the road. He goes to these places. He goes to the graves. He goes to the battlefields. He goes and he shows you the real history that's right under our feet here in the great old US of A. It's beautiful. Now, does Starfjordi go and show us any castles in England? No, he doesn't do any of that. But Redoubt goes all throughout the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and shows you incredible sites like this. Poor Star Fury catching strays. It's good stuff. And he does live streams, Redoubt does. So catches live streams. He frequents our Discord. He's there. He's all the time. We're going to do, we'll probably do some kind of collab at some time in the future. I don't want to put him on the spot or anything, but we did review Shogun together, so we got to do something like that again, Redoubt. It's too much fun. Too much fun, and I think that's pretty much our show today. Let me get the volume here. Well, I hope you had fun on the Captain's Cast. I sure did. It's good to see you all. I've been a little bit absent lately on the channel. That's because I'm spending most of my time working on Galaxyborn. That's right. GalaxyBorn.com. Sign up for the email list. I'm going to be ramping that up soon. That's where you'll get updates leading up to the launch. This is an independent science fiction property, and we got to start somewhere. So we're starting with a series of novels, but the possibilities are endless, and it's all on me as the visionary creator to hopefully deliver something of great quality, and I certainly hope I will. Thank you for the super chats, Fu Man Blue, Staffiri, much appreciated. Thank you for being here. Says good show. I appreciate it, Fu Man. Thank you very much indeed. Join our Discord, like and subscribe. Keep an eye out. Check out Ridout Productions. Good stuff all. And until next time, this is Captain Garrett saying, I will see you out there.